Chapter 2292, All the Shrines, His Life is in Peril, said a voice. The diviner looked furious. Bing Yen, take him away. Save him, thanks for your help. All right. The dazzling green lights disappeared across the sky. Lin Feng had already lost consciousness. The fire shrine's strong cultivator groaned coldly. Lin Feng thought he could still survive. That attack was enough, Lin Feng was about to die. Great life destruction, said the diviner coldly. The fire shrine saint was stupefied and shouted furiously, Maradeva, you want to kill me? A terrifying life-corroding strength emerged and surrounded his body. His life was being drained out. The diviner overbearing chi was surging. The fire shrine's strong cultivator could sense that the diviner wanted to kill him. We've all been at peace for so many years, it seems like you've all forgotten where my name comes from. But you remembered my name, at least, you'll die knowing who killed you, sighed the diviner. Lights emerged from his eyes and blotted out the sky. The whole territory became his. The sky went dark. Even the saint emperors in the distance were shaking. A saint from the empty space shrine arrived and gazed into the distance. However, when he saw the diviner and the fire shrine saint fighting, he was astonished, and he remembered the diviner's name. He didn't know what to do anymore, help the fire shrine saint, or not. If he dies, the fire shrine will go crazy, thought the empty space shrine saint. He turned around and left as if events had nothing to do with him anymore. The diviner and the fire shrine saint were fighting, their energies already blotted out the sky and covered the earth. The atmosphere was sealed over a distance of thousands of li. The diviner's strength was incredible, no matter what, he wanted to kill his enemy, he didn't care about the consequences anymore. All of this would have terrifying consequences in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. At least 5 shrines had gotten involved. Such a terrifying thing hadn't happened in such a long time. Now, Lin Feng had served as the match for the fire. Lin Feng had finished first at the meeting of the continent of the Nine Clouds, he had become famous in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. Back when he had finished first at the meeting of the continent of the Nine Clouds, people in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds hadn't paid attention to him because there were too many geniuses in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. But now, things were different. This day, a saint of the fire shrine fell. It had been a very, very long time since a saint from the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds had died. But because of Lin Feng, the fire shrine saint had died. The diviner, whose real name was Maradeva, had killed him. People had forgotten that name with time. The diviner of the fortune shrine had killed a saint of the fire shrine. A saint had died, a terrible thing for the fire shrine. Apart from losing an important asset, they had also lost face. Everybody thought that the fire shrine would be furious, but actually they calmed down, and didn't continue fighting against the fortune shrine. People in the outside world didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, though. But they could imagine that the fire shrine was actually furious. Maybe they were scared, too. For the fire shrine, chasing Lin Feng was just something they had agreed to do because all the shrines had joined hands. The fortune shrine didn't dare attack all the shrines, but the diviner, Maradeva, had dared kill one of their saints. The fire shrine's strong cultivators weren't stupid, they knew that if their saint had died, it was because the saints from the other shrines had probably abandoned him during the battle. The fire shrine's members had already heard many people tell their versions of what had happened on that day. They could imagine what had happened in the end, that saint had died because the other shrines, with whom they had formed an alliance, had abandoned him and left. The other shrines hoped that the fire shrine would start a war against the fortune shrine. The fire shrine was convinced that if they started a war against the fortune shrine, nobody would help them, and on the contrary, they would watch and then, when the 2 shrines were weak enough, they would finish them both off. They hadn't forgotten the war of the shrines in the old days, it was why the shrines didn't dare fight anymore. The consequences in the ancient days had been too tragic. However, everybody thought that the diviner was cruel. He had dared kill a saint. But now, the problem was Lin Feng dead? Everybody had heard that the Fire Shrine Saint had attacked Lin Feng and that a strong cultivator of the Life Shrine had taken him away. Therefore, nobody knew if he was dead or not. Green lights flashed deep within the Life Shrine. Beautiful emerald green grass fields and trees. There was a beautiful lake there containing an incredible amount of life strength. Lin Feng was lying in the water of the life lake, floating at the surface. Life strength kept flowing into his body. Life strength also kept emerging from the grass and trees and entering his body. His life essence was getting thicker and thicker. There was someone at the lakeside staring at Lin Feng, frowning. It was the diviner. The diviner raised his head and looked at an ancient tree, asking, "Bing Yen, how is he doing?" His own life strength is very powerful, so he can absorb life strength even better than most people. It's like he is in a state of suspended animation. He should have woken up, but I don't know why he hasn't, said the ancient tree. I'll call Shishi, she'll come and check. Thank you, Bing Yen, said the diviner, nodding at the ancient tree. Bing Yen looked at the diviner and said, you attach much importance to him, you even killed a saint because of him. Does he really have a forbidden body? It's not important. He's a disciple of the Fortune Shrine, how could I let anyone oppress them like that, replied the diviner calmly. A beautiful woman appeared, landing on the lakeside. She had an extraordinary chi, and looked like a life goddess. She flashed out above the lake, she crouched and looked at Lin Feng. Death and life type. She was surprised. She looked at the diviner and asked, he understands life and death Tao? I think so, said the diviner. Life and death are not very compatible. His life and death strengths are competing. He's in a special state. I don't know why he can't wake up, though, said Mu Rong Shishi. The diviner frowned. The Fortune Shrine's strong cultivators had incredible powers, but they didn't understand life strength that well compared to the strong cultivators of the Life Shrine. What should we do? Asked the diviner. I will continue healing him. I think he's the only one who knows when he will wake up, though, said Mu Rong Shishi, shaking her head. Source, http://www.utopian.net/name/compound/Murong. HTML, what if he doesn't wake up? Asked the diviner, frowning. We'll need to expel his death strength from his body then, no other choice, replied Mu Rong Shishi. Lin Feng's condition was strange, even to them the diviner was speechless as he stared at Lin Feng. What was wrong with this little boy? In the Fortune Shrine, Meng Qing and Zhetian were extremely nervous. They didn't know how Lin Feng was doing. The diviner told them they had to be patient. How could they be patient, though? Now the relations between the shrines were not good. The diviner didn't want them to leave the Fortune Shrine for the time being. Otherwise, the Fire Shrine might seek revenge and kill them. Apart from Meng Qing and Zhetian, in the Void Phoenix clan, some people were also extremely worried too. Qing Feng was staring at Saint Shiju Lao Xian and asked, Teacher, how is Lin Feng doing? I'm not sure, said Shiju Lao Xian, shaking his head, I've heard that he was in the Life Shrine. Life Shrine? Qing Feng was surprised. She said, I want to go to the Life Shrine. To do what? Said Shiju Lao Xian, Lin Feng will be fine, there are strong cultivators in both shrines. If they can't do much, you won't be able to do much either. Be patient. Qing Feng was surprised, and said, I'll go and see Sister Jing. She left quickly. All the shrines were watching the Life Shrine these days. They needed to know whether Lin Feng was dead or not. The Fire Shrine had lost a saint, after all, and lost face. They hadn't even managed to kill a celestial emperor. People from the Snow clan were also watching the Life Shrine. They were convinced that if Lin Feng died, everybody would quickly know it. Chapter 2293, Lin Feng's condition. Lin Feng was calmly lying above the life lake of the Fortune Shrine. Life strength kept flowing into his body. Mu Rongxi was in front of Lin Feng. She stretched her hand and put it on Lin Feng's body. She released even more life qi, which flew throughout Lin Feng's body. However, she could sense that there was a life and death vortex in Lin Feng's body. His death strength didn't disperse. She felt powerless. "Why would you do that?" whispered Mu Rongxi. Some green leaves passed next to her and brushed her. "He's in a state of suspended animation, why doesn't the death energy disperse?" asked Bing Yan. Mu Rongxi shook her head, "I'm not sure. I can't see what's happening inside his head, or I'd solve the situation." "What you mean is that he's doing that on purpose?" asked Bing Yan. "Yes," said Mu Rongxi. Nodded. It was possible. Bing Yan didn't understand. Was Lin Feng staying asleep on purpose? Lin Feng was in a state of suspended animation. When the Fire Shrine Saint had attacked him, he had thought he was dying, and actually had almost died. However, because he controlled life and death Tao, he had released life stamps into his body and had used all of his life strength. He hadn't died, and at that moment, Bing Yan had released life strength into him and prevented him from dying. However, Lin Feng had never been that close to dying before, he really had almost died. Then, life strength had saved him, and he had fallen into a state of suspended animation. Initially, he didn't want that, but he also knew that going through such a thing was a rare opportunity. He had the opportunity to study life and death in real conditions, and he couldn't miss it. If he missed it, he wouldn't be stupid enough to try to cause such a situation again. Cause such a situation to happen just to study it. Therefore, he had decided not to wake up to study each part of his body and how they reacted when facing death. It would also be a great opportunity to reach perfection on the path of life and death. Lin Feng had already heard that his life and death Tao was a dual Tao. It was a difficult path. Finally, he had the opportunity to study death in a real-life situation. Therefore, he didn't want to wake up. There was a giant at the lakeside, his qi was ancient. He looked like a god. Qin Shan had found the way here himself. He had already studied the rebirth scriptures, and even though he couldn't become as strong as he used to be in his previous life, he was already vastly stronger than when he was only a small thread of consciousness. A blue-green bird whistled and called out, "Two women from the Void Phoenix clan from the northwest area are here and want to see Lin Feng." Bing Yan raised his head and said, "Let them come." The grass undulated in the wind, and after a short time, two beautiful women arrived, Jing and Qin Feng. "Lin Feng!" shouted Qin Feng when she saw Lin Feng. She landed in front of him and looked at him lying on the surface of the water. It made her feel extremely sad. "What's wrong with him?" Qin Feng asked Mu Rongxi. Mu Rongxi shook her head, "He's in a state of suspended animation. He's half dead, half alive. I don't know any more." "Half dead, half alive." Qin Feng was stunned. "What you mean is that he can die any time?" "Yes," Mu Rongxi nodded. Qin Feng's face stiffened. She didn't know what to say. She just stared at Lin Feng. "How could it be?" said Qin Feng, almost crying. She looked devastated. She crouched down and put her hands on Lin Feng's face. A few days before, he was with her, he had told her he wanted to take care of her. He was smiling so broadly. He had even told her mother that. However, only a short time had passed, and he was almost dead. "Qin Feng," said Jing. Poor Qin Feng, she was devastated, she had fallen in love with Lin Feng and now. Qin Feng didn't say anything. She just stayed there, kneeling next to Lin Feng. She looked at Mu Rongxi and asked, "Master, if I die and turn into Tao and I enter into his body, will he come back to life?" "Die and turn into Tao?" Mu Rongxi was astonished. The Void Phoenix clan really had such an ability, but only strong cultivators could use it. It was an ancient phoenix sacrificial technique. Maybe, replied Mu Rong Shishi. At least, his chances of waking up would be higher, I guess. Alright, Qing Feng nodded. Jing was astonished. Qing Feng, you can't turn into Dao now. Qing Feng couldn't sacrifice herself yet. I'll accept what the clan asked of me. I'll have my phoenix blood cleansed again, and I'll be able to turn into Dao. I'm going back, said Qing Feng. She smiled at Jing and turned around. Jing's mouth twitched. I don't accept this. Let's go, sister, Qing Feng said. Her silhouette flickered as she left. Mu Rong Shishi and Bing Yan were astonished. Mu Rong Shishi smiled wryly and shook her head. She smiled at Bing Yan and said, Sister Bing Yan, you probably understand. Bing Yan smiled wryly, you're making fun of me. I'm not. Back in the days, you and Maradeva were so passionate, replied Mu Rong Shishi, giggling. It was difficult to imagine two saints giggling like that. At that moment, they looked like little girls. Lin Feng didn't know what was going on outside at that moment. His soul and consciousness were almost dead. His life and death Dao was about to reach perfection. When a cultivator's Dao reached the maximum level, perfection, it meant that they met one of the requirements to become a saint. Every saint had gone through this. Lin Feng's journey was even more difficult. He had almost died. His God strength fused together with his life and death strength. People in the outside world were still watching the life shrine. They were waiting for news. Was Lin Feng dead yet? Qing Feng accepted getting married to a member of the fire shrine in order to have her phoenix blood cleansed. It was a great opportunity for the Void Phoenix clan. But it didn't draw too many people's attention. The fire shrine didn't even care about it. All they cared about was Lin Feng's death. Time passed slowly. The suspended animation started dispersed slowly in Lin Feng's body. His life and death strength started connecting again. What's wrong? Bing Yan looked startled at that moment, and looked at Lin Feng strangely. She immediately released life strength, which flowed throughout his body. How could it be? My life strength is dividing inside of his body, it's dividing into life and death strength. And the division is perfectly equal. Mu Rong Shishi didn't understand, she didn't know what it looked like when a cultivator's life and death Dao was reaching perfection, so she didn't understand. She thought the death strength in Lin Feng's body had appeared because of the Fire Shrine Saint's attack, in other words, that it was the injury itself. It was partly true, and by a lucky coincidence, Lin Feng had been given the opportunity to improve. Let's watch, said Mu Bing Yan. Lin Feng absorbed more and more life strength. It was as if the life qi of the lake wasn't enough for him. The two women were stunned. Qing Feng and Jing came back to the life shrine. Jing didn't want Qing Feng to come back, but Qing Feng was stubborn. Jing could only hope that Lin Feng would wake up before Qing Feng did anything stupid. Chapter 2294, Waking Up the Life Shrine was boundless. From the sky, it didn't look like a city, it looked like a gigantic tree. There were millions of leaves everywhere, and they all contained an endless amount of ancient life qi. Each branch of the tree looked like an ancient tree in itself. Lin Feng was somewhere in there, lying calmly at the top of the lake. He continued absorbing the strength of the lake. Qing Feng and Jing finally arrived. When Jing saw that Lin Feng hadn't woken up, she was nervous. Her heart was pounding. Master, when will he wake up? Jing looked at Mu Rong Shishi and asked telepathically, Master, tell my sister that Lin Feng will wake up, otherwise, she will do something stupid. Mu Rong Shishi was surprised. She glanced at Qing Feng, but tried to look normal. She said calmly, he's absorbing life strength now. He will probably wake up soon. Mu Rong Shishi didn't know when Lin Feng would stand up, but she knew that Jing was extremely worried. She had to cheer Qing Feng up. Mu Bingyan knew why she said that. She also hoped that Lin Feng would wake up at some point, so Qing Feng wouldn't sacrifice herself. Qing Feng glanced at Mu Rongxishi and whispered, "Really? Of course, I'm a saint, I wouldn't lie to you," said Mu Rongxishi, smiling. Qing Feng trusted her instantly because she looked so kind. She nodded, "I'll wait for 7 days, if he doesn't wake up during these 7 days, I'll turn into Dao." Mu Rongxishi was surprised and said, "Give him time." "No, if he's already absorbing life strength, he should wake up quickly. If he doesn't wake up within 7 days, then it means that it's not working," said Qing Feng, smiling at Mu Rongxishi. She was staring at Lin Feng. Now, she hoped that Lin Feng would wake up quickly. But Lin Feng didn't know about that. If he knew, he would have woken up. During those 7 days, he continued absorbing life strength. After 7 days, Qing Feng smiled from where she was seated next to Lin Feng. She looked calm, she just smiled in a silly way. "It seems like I'll become a part of your body now," Qing Feng smiled. "Feng." Qing Feng's cheek started burning, a phoenix called out sadly. An ancient phoenix shadow appeared around her body, dazzling to see. "No, Qing Feng. Don't do it," said Jing. Her face turned deathly pale. She was shouting desperately. "Sister." Qing Feng smiled at Jing, her smile was resplendent. "Sister, thank you for being good to me. I owe you." "Qing Feng, don't," said Jing, shaking her head urgently. However, a strong wind started blowing. Death strength emerged from Qing Feng's body. She was dying, and her energy was going into Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng sensed something, his god strength allowed him to control things. Actually, he also viewed his god strength as control strength. At that moment, a strange death strength filled with emotions was merging into his body. Lin Feng sensed his death strength was improving. Qing Feng's ability was incredible, her life turned into death strength and then into life strength in the other person's body. It was a kind of rebirth. That death strength turned into life strength in his body. That death strength filled with emotions is turning into life strength? Thought Lin Feng. It was a completely different strength from his life and death strength. His life and death strength were completely distinct in his body. Jing started crying above the lake. Qing Feng's body was burning away. But Qing Feng wasn't sad, she was happy, she looked confident and at ease. Her silhouette gradually became illusionary. Mu Bingyan looked at Qing Feng and closed her eyes. She was too sad, she didn't dare look. Mu Rongxishi felt very sad, too, but she suddenly released an incredible amount of life strength, surrounding the lake. She looked at Lin Feng, he was still absorbing life strength. She shouted, "Stop! Don't turn into Dao." Jing was surprised and looked at Lin Feng. She shouted, "Feng, stop! Lin Feng is going to wake up. Stop! Cancel!" Life strength surrounded Qing Feng's body. Mu Rongxishi flashed over next to her. Instantly, Qing Feng's strength went back into her body, and she recalled her fire. How dangerous! Thought Mu Rongxishi. Qing Feng's soul was badly injured even though she had started her Dao transformation technique only a few seconds before. Qing Feng was astonished too, but she calmed down quickly and looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was still absorbing life strength. "What's going on?" asked Qing Feng. She was surprised. His life and death strength are changing. They coexist peacefully. Thought Mu Rongxishi. She was astonished. She whispered, "He's going to wake up. He's practicing cultivation, he's not pretending to be dead." Practicing cultivation. Qing Feng was astonished. Jing took a deep breath and said to Qing Feng, "You almost died. Qing Feng's eyes twinkled. She smiled at Jing and then continued looking at Lin Feng. Let's move back, Mu Rongxi, she said to the two younger women. Lin Feng was still absorbing life strength. A strong wind made of life and death strength started blowing around him. They quickly enveloped the whole lake. The trees around the lake started turning pitch black. Mu Rongxi and Mu Bingyan looked at the changes in the atmosphere and shivered. This guy's Tao had reached perfection, his comprehension abilities were incredible. He had almost died and had seized that opportunity to study death strength. What a genius. No wonder all the shrines made such great efforts to kill him. A saint had even been killed because of him. The fire shrine was probably furious. They had lost a saint, and they still hadn't managed to kill Lin Feng. Life and death lights dashed to the skies. Suddenly, Lin Feng opened his eyes and looked around, seeing everything was emerald green around him. It felt good to be there. He smiled. Life and death Tao was difficult, but finally, he had really reached the peak of perfection. He felt great. But when he opened his eyes, he felt some cold eyes on him. He slowly rose up into the air and exclaimed, Jing. Jing was staring at him coldly. She looked furious. You bastard, you weren't not dead. You were practicing cultivation, said Jing coldly. Feng almost killed herself because of you. What do you mean, said Lin Feng, stunned. Jing spat. When she saw that you didn't wake up, she wanted to turn into Tao to save your life. When Lin Feng heard that, he shivered. No wonder he had sensed a strange death strength, it was Qing Feng's. His silhouette flickered and he landed next to Qing Feng. She was beaming at him. He caressed her cheeks and said, silly girl. I'm all right now, said Qing Feng, smiling back at him. You're fine, but if the saint hadn't prevented you from turning into Tao, you'd be dead now, said Jing. She was furious. Lin Feng looked at Mu Rongxi and Mu Bingyan. He said, you're the ones who saved me, I guess. I feel very touched and grateful. He bowed before the two women. It was a slight effort. However, take good care of that girl, said Mu Bingyan, glancing at Qing Feng. She sighed and said, it's rare to have someone who would be willing to sacrifice themselves for you. Cherish her and protect her. I understand, master. Lin Feng nodded. He grabbed Qing Feng's warm hand, she felt warm. He glanced at the green trees and asked, where are we? The Life Shrine. Master Mu Bingyan and the diviner have known each other for a very long time, said Jing. Lin Feng understood, the diviner had asked Mu Bingyan to save him. Fire Shrine, Ice and Snow Shrine, Empty Space Shrine. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with murder. They had almost killed him, but he was too weak to compete with the shrines for now. The shrines were terrifying entities. At that moment, he wished he could be like the king of the 10,000 beasts, he wished he stood at the top, he wished he could crush the shrines. Chapter 2295, Going back to purple clouds. There were two golden lights in the sky of the Life Shrine, a pair of eyes which could see everything. Those two dazzling eyes could see everything that was happening in the Life Shrine. When Lin Feng stood up, that pair of eyes slowly disappeared. Very quickly, the shrines all learned that Lin Feng wasn't dead, and that he had woken up. The shrines were all furious, especially the Fire Shrine. A few saints had joined hands and failed to kill Lin Feng. They had even lost one. How ridiculous. Was it some kind of a joke? And the worst thing was that the shrines had also killed many, many innocents, and in the end, they hadn't even managed to kill Lin Feng. The shrines didn't care about anyone's life because they were extremely powerful, but their reputation would be tarnished. The shrines didn't like losing face. They had failed to kill Lin Feng, who probably had a forbidden body. They had missed an opportunity, and opportunities were rare. At that moment, many people from different shrines went and encircled the Life Shrine. The Fortune Shrine knew it, and the diviner informed Mu Bingyan. Life chi kept surrounding Lin Feng and penetrating into his body. Lin Feng absorbed it greedily. Mu Bingyan didn't mind, the others were just chatting while Lin Feng did that. Lin Feng was very grateful. He kept thanking Mu Rongxi and Mu Bingyan. They had healed him the whole time he was practicing cultivation. Lin Feng, all the shrines want to kill you. When you were practicing cultivation and looked dead, many eyes were in the sky of the life shrine watching you, they didn't hide at all. They all saw that you woke up. They have probably encircled the life shrine. You'll have to go to the lower world, I think, Mu Rongxi told Lin Feng. Lin Feng was startled. Indeed, he would have to leave and go to the lower world. He couldn't stay in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds. I should go back and see how strong the king of the 10,000 beasts is, murmured Lin Feng. He knew the king of the 10,000 beasts cultivation level, he knew how strong he could be, and now, he needed to collaborate with him. Sis Shi, thank you for having saved my life, I will never forget it, Lin Feng said to Mu Rongxi. She smiled and said, ha ha ha, you just called me, sis. You know how old I am? I am much, much older than you. We're cultivators, age doesn't matter. Besides, when a cultivator reaches a certain level, it is almost impossible to tell how old they are. And Sister Shi, you look like a very young woman, said Lin Feng with a smile. Mu Rongxi's eyes twinkled, she smiled at Lin Feng and said, Maradeva's disciples know how to talk to women, I see. Alright, stop joking now. If Lin Feng goes to the lower world, the shrines will chase him to kill him. Lin Feng, will you be alright? Asked Mu Bingyan. Lin Feng smiled, don't worry. I have some incredible hiding and disguising abilities. Nobody can recognize me when I use them. To kill me, they'd have to destroy the continent of the 9 clouds. Alright, good. But Qing Feng and Jing won't be able to follow you that way, otherwise, they will immediately recognize you, said Mu Bingyan. Lin Feng nodded. He smiled at Qing Feng and said, you go back to the Void Phoenix clan, wait for me there. When I come back to the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds, I will come to you. Qing Feng was stunned, her heart twitched. She tried to hide her emotions with a smile and nodded, all right, don't worry. Jing's eyes glittered. She wasn't happy. Qing Feng had almost committed suicide to save Lin Feng, and she had promised her clan something. She wasn't dead, so of course, Jing was happy about that, but now, what could Qing Feng do about her promise? She couldn't take back her word. She had agreed only because of Lin Feng. Shi, bring Lin Feng to the lower world's passage, Mu Bingyan told Mu Rongxi. Mu Rongxi nodded and took Lin Feng to the passage in the depths of the life shrine. Sister Shi, how come there are so few people in the life shrine? Asked Lin Feng. He was surprised. You just haven't seen them, smiled Mu Rongxi. Grass is alive. Everything in the life shrine is life. Lin Feng was surprised and smiled. He didn't say much more. After some time, they arrived at the passage. Mu Rongxi asked Lin Feng, which continent do you want to go to? Purple clouds, said Lin Feng smiled. He turned around and caressed Qing Feng's cheeks, smiled and said, wait for me. All right. Qing Feng agreed. Lin Feng said to Jing, take care of Qing Feng. Jing rolled her eyes and looked at him angrily. Lin Feng turned around and jumped into the teleportation portal which led to purple clouds. He quickly disappeared from their field of vision. Lin Feng suddenly appeared in purple clouds. He glanced at the sky, it was difficult to imagine that it was another world which had been created by people. Lin Feng changed his face and body. He was back in purple clouds, and had one target destination in mind, king of the 10,000 beasts territory. With his current strength, he could travel anywhere in purple clouds without any problem. He easily found a map of the continent and quickly made his way to Long Night City. Back then, Lin Feng had gone to Long Night City with a terrifying group of beasts and had killed many people. The inhabitants of Long Night City now understood that the king of the 10,000 beasts existed, they just didn't have the opportunity to see him. The king of the 10,000 beasts territory was truly a forbidden territory. There were legends about Lin Feng in Long Night City, too. Some people said he was a descendant of the king of the 10,000 beasts. Otherwise, how could he have had such a terrifying army of beasts with him? But Lin Feng didn't know about those things. He had gone back to Long Night City, and was calmly walking around. He continued on in the direction of the king of the 10,000 beasts territory. The king of the 10,000 beasts territory was still lively. Many beasts had gathered there living in peace with one another. They continued competing in the bestial memorial pagoda, improving their fighting abilities. Nobody could really die inside, so the beasts were happy. Lin Feng admired the king of the 10,000 beasts for that. He had created a great society. Lin Feng had arrived at the entrance of Minister Rock's territory. There were many beasts around him, shouting out, "The fighting phantom is back." Indeed, it's the fighting phantom. We can't even see how strong he is anymore. How terrifying. He was only at the top of the Huangqi layer when he became a fighting phantom. A field littered with corpses appeared around him. He amazed everybody. Now, he's a fighting phantom, and he's terrifyingly strong. He seems to be like a celestial imperial beast now, said one beast. What an incredible cultivation speed. We should go and see how strong he is, declared another beast bravely. He's a fighting phantom, we can't do that. The ministers won't be happy, said another beast indifferently. He was half rhinoceros, half ox. Why not? We can check his strength, there's nothing disrespectful about that. The king of the 10,000 beasts likes it when people compare themselves and try to become stronger, said the other beast courageously. All right, nodded the other beast. Thunder began to sound as he ran towards Lin Feng. The beasts around roared enthusiastically. Fighting phantom, be careful, shouted the ox. He raised his fists, lightning appeared around him. Lin Feng punched out in his direction. There was a boom, and the beast was slammed away and crashed into the ground violently. He stood up again, he looking enthusiastic. How strong! How strong! How powerful! The fighting phantom is progressing so damn fast. Thought the beasts around, astonished. Bunch of stupid beasts, piss off now. You dare try to see how strong the fighting phantom is, even though someone like me can't even see how strong he is, swore Minister Rock after coming out. He looked at Lin Feng and said, "You're incredible. I'm very surprised." Minister Rock greeted Lin Feng. I want to go and see the king of the 10,000 beasts. Minister Rock was surprised, but said to Lin Feng, all right, I'll take you to the leader. He opened his massive wings as he turned into a great rock. Come on. Lin Feng jumped onto his back and they started flying away faster than most of the beasts could follow. Everybody was astonished. The fighting phantom really had an extraordinary position within the hierarchy. He could even ride the great rock who was a minister. Chapter 2296, Joining hands. The span of the great rock's wings was 1,000 meters. He could cross millions of li in no time. When he flapped his wings, it caused hurricanes. Minister Rock took Lin Feng directly to the leader's mansion house. However, they didn't see him there. Fighting Phantom, do you know where to find the leader? Said Minister Rock. I've informed him already. Let's wait here, replied Lin Feng calmly. Even though he was a fighting phantom, he had never seen the king of the 10,000 beasts' real body. He had seen him in his previous lives, that was all. He wasn't even sure that the leader had seen him personally. Maybe very few people knew who the king of the 10,000 beasts really was. Lin Feng was even convinced that he had had even more than 81 lives, and that he had practiced all sorts of cultivation. Lin Feng was also convinced that many worlds the king of the 10,000 beasts had lived in had disappeared. Of course, those were just guesses. Only the king of the 10,000 beasts knew the truth. Besides, the leader's cultivation level was also terrifying. How many social statuses did he have in the world? Even though Lin Feng knew he was a leader and at the same time an ordinary father and husband, he probably had other social statuses in the world. Lin Feng also had many social statuses. Who knew that he was both a fighting phantom in the king of the 10,000 beasts world, and a disciple of the Fortune Shrine? Lin Feng. The leader finally arrived. He slowly descended from the sky and looked at Lin Feng, his eyes twinkling. Your cultivation level? Lin Feng laughed, I've understood a lot. I progress quickly. Regarding my cultivation level, you can regard me as a Saint Emperor. Saint Emperor? The leader was astonished, almost trembling. Back then, Lin Feng was an emperor and he could fight against celestial emperors. Now he had studied a lot and he could already oppress Saint Emperors. How quick! He had never seen someone progress so quickly. Leader, I would like to see the king of the 10,000 beasts, Lin Feng said to him. The leader looked at Lin Feng and nodded, all right, I'll take you to the king of the 10,000 beasts. They both instantly disappeared from there. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered. After a short time, he recognized his surroundings. He asked, Leader, how big is the king of the 10,000 beasts world? I'm not sure either, said the leader smiling. Lin Feng frowned and asked, is it completely isolated from the outside world? It is isolated from the outside world, but it can't be completely apart. Great Emperor Bai was extremely strong and the king of the 10,000 beasts accepted letting him go out, his life is in his hands now, said the leader calmly. Lin Feng was surprised. Great Emperor Bai had seemingly died because of his own actions, the king of the 10,000 beasts had nothing to do with it. Of course, core people can move in and out freely, for example you as a fighting phantom, and all the leaders. The way the king of the 10,000 beasts manages his worlds is stricter and more organized than the way the shrines manage the continent of the 9 clouds, observed Lin Feng. The leader smiled and nodded, indeed. I've been to the continent of the 9 clouds. The shrines are arrogant. They consider everybody like tiny little insects. Nobody can provoke them. Yes, Lin Feng nodded. He agreed with the leader. The shrines were too arrogant. Many people in the continent of the 9 clouds didn't even know that the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds existed, or it was not what they thought it was. When people talked about the shrines, they thought the shrines were legendary. The shrines had been like that for a long time. They considered themselves gods. Nobody could say anything about the shrines, apart from the other shrines themselves. And apart from the supreme animal world and some other groups, everybody feared the shrines. A terrifying chi rolled in waves. When they arrived, Lin Feng was stupefied. They both landed on the ground. Leader, where are we? Asked Lin Feng, glancing around. He recognized this place. It was the leader's village. Follow me and you'll know, said the leader with a knowing smile. He looked like an ordinary person again, recalling all his chi and walking normally. Uncle Wang. Lin Feng recalled his chi too. He smiled wryly. They were in the leader's small village again. The young woman ran out to them to greet them. She glanced at Lin Feng and said, You're back here. Yes, I came to see Uncle Wang, said Lin Feng cheerfully. The leader looked at the young woman and asked, Is the old painter here? Of course, and he's still painting, what else could he be doing, giggled the young woman. I'll go and see him, said the leader. Lin Feng and the leader were soon walking on an ordinary road of the village. They arrived in front of a small house with a small gate in bad shape. Lin Feng saw an old man in a courtyard, painting. It's blank. Lin Feng was astonished when he saw the painting. It was blank. There was nothing on it. The old man was painting on a rock. He was just brushing a rock, how could he be painting? Leader. Lin Feng looked at his superior strangely. The leader smiled, stay here and watch. He can't stop when he's painting. Lin Feng turned his head again and watched curiously. He didn't understand why the leader had taken him here, but very quickly, Lin Feng frowned. He realized that the old man wasn't just painting, lights were entering into the stone. He couldn't really see them with his real eyes. What's going on? Lin Feng didn't think he was wrong. He was staring at the brush. It was similar to when he drew on the pages of his celestial book. Sometimes, he stays here and paints for years, or even dozens of years, without taking a break, said the leader indifferently. Lin Feng frowned. Lin Feng couldn't draw for years, and even less so for dozens of years. He wasn't patient or focused enough. This ordinary old man seemed to have no qi at all, but he could draw for dozens of years without stopping, without eating or drinking. Lin Feng slowly turned around and said slowly, he's. The leader smiled and nodded. Lin Feng frowned, and looked at the old man again. His eyes glittered. The king of the 10,000 beasts. That ordinary old man was the king of the 10,000 beasts. He looked so ordinary. But he had gone through so much in life. Lin Feng could understand, so after a few minutes, he calmed down. He took a deep breath and sat down next to the leader. They both watched the old man. After 18 days, he finally stopped. He didn't raise his head the entire time, and he didn't glance at Lin Feng even once. Finally, it's good, said the old man nonchalantly. Only then did he raise his head and look at Lin Feng. He frowned a moment before smiling. Lin Feng, here we meet again. King of the 10,000 beasts. Lin Feng greeted him. Lin Feng had experienced the king of the 10,000 beasts' lives, but they had never actually met personally. Not bad. Really not bad, nodded the king of the 10,000 beasts. He smiled and asked, so, what do you want from me? King of the 10,000 beasts, you once said that fighting phantoms were strong enough to manage a world. I want to know how strong you are. I want to join hands with you, Lin Feng declared calmly. He was talking to the king of the 10,000 beasts and saying he wanted to join hands with him. The king of the 10,000 beasts laughed. Join hands to do what? Lin Feng stared at him and said coldly, destroy those arrogant bastards and conquer the world. Chapter 2297, Forming an army. The king of the 10,000 beasts frowned deeply. He had small eyes, so when he frowned, he looked like he had his eyes closed. But the dazzling lights in his eyes pierced through his eyelids. He looked like a peerless sword cultivator. Interesting, said the king of the 10,000 beasts. Even though you are talented, it's still a bit early to destroy those arrogant bastards. Indeed, it's still too early. But you taught me that it takes a lot of time to prepare something like that. I want to prepare myself now, and then we'll see when we have an opportunity, said Lin Feng calmly. He always looked natural and at ease, no matter whom he was talking to. What do you think an opportunity is? The king of the 10,000 beasts asked shrewdly. The first one will be when I am strong enough. The second one will be when someone can help you, answered Lin Feng slowly. Who will help me? You, said the king of the 10,000 beasts smiling softly. Lin Feng nodded, I can't help you now. But sooner or later, I will. The king of the 10,000 beasts remained silent for a few seconds. He was staring Lin Feng in the eyes. Lin Feng didn't look away, staring him back in the eyes, calm and sure. Finally, the king of the 10,000 beasts smiled and stated, I will give you a world army and a leader. How strong is a world army? Asked Lin Feng. In my world, all the leaders are saints or half-saints. A world army is composed of 30 saint emperors, 300 celestial emperors, and as for great emperors, you can choose however many you want, as you wish. Regarding the leader, you can have him, he's a low-level saint, said the king of the 10,000 beasts, pointing at the man who had brought Lin Feng there. Lin Feng was astonished, his heart was shaking. The king of the 10,000 beasts was talking about a terrifying army. He had probably needed a great deal of time to create such an army, 30 saint emperors. That was more saint emperors than there were in one of the main cities of dark clouds. If the king of the 10,000 beasts' territory was composed of more than 18 worlds, then it meant that he had more saint emperors than there were in one of the 9 clouds. How fearsome! Of course, that was still far from being enough to compete with the shrines. But if the shrines saw that, they would also understand that the king of the 10,000 beasts was probably an extremely dangerous force. Thank you very much, king of the 10,000 beasts, said Lin Feng after taking a deep breath. The king of the 10,000 beasts smiled and asked, "What do you want to do with one of my armies?" To be honest, those arrogant bastards chased me, they wanted to kill me and I nearly died. I need a powerful army, said Lin Feng. The king of the 10,000 beasts nodded, all right. I'll leave it to you, then. Anything else? I would like to experience all your lives now, said Lin Feng. The king of the 10,000 beasts was surprised, but he grinned. You want to experience all of them? Why? Go now. The old man walked to Lin Feng and tapped his shoulder. He said to the leader, I'll leave the rest to you. Go outside and wait for him. Sir, the leader nodded. The king of the 10,000 beasts took Lin Feng to some other place, they instantly disappeared. After the leader saw them leave, he walked over to the stone. He raised his hand and immediately punched it. It exploded and turned to ashes. However, underneath it, dazzling golden lights appeared. It was a shimmering golden pattern. He put his hands in it and used his strength. A landscape with mountains and rivers appeared. Very good, it's a world. The leader's eyes looked sharp. Who would have thought that he was drawing worlds in stone? Achieving such a thing was incredible, he had to be extremely strong. Lin Feng was now with the king of the 10,000 beasts. He experienced lives he hadn't experienced the previous time. Meanwhile, the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds didn't calm down. All the shrines knew Lin Feng had gone to another region. But the continent of the 9 clouds was too big, how could they find him? It was impossible. Time passed. 3 months passed quickly. Lin Feng hadn't reappeared. The shrines gave up and stopped looking for him. Huixing Zi was in a courtyard in the northwest area in the Void Phoenix clan. He was with Jing's father. What you mean is that the one I saw last time in the Void Phoenix clan was Lin Feng. He simply disguised himself, asked the middle-aged man slowly. Yes, I hadn't thought about it either, but then some people informed me about it, Huixing Zi nodded. Huishang was next to him and said, and we also know that last time, Qing Feng accepted the marriage alliance to have her phoenix blood cleansed, and that after that, she went to the life shrine because she wanted to sacrifice herself to save him. The middle-aged man looked astonished, Qing Feng wanted to kill herself to save Lin Feng. After that, we started watching her, and we realized that Lin Feng and Qing Feng were extremely close, intimate even. Then, we learned that Miss Jing had always known about that. That's how I understood that that guy was Lin Feng. After he disappeared, did he come back to the Void Phoenix clan? Huishang asked. The middle-aged man nodded and said to Huishang, so, since it was Lin Feng, what do you intend to do? Make him show up, said Huishang. Using Qing Feng, the middle-aged man was astonished. He thought of his wife, who loved Qing Feng deeply. Uncle, it's not using. Qing Feng accepted getting married to a member of the Fire Shrine, Lin Feng obviously doesn't know about that. We've never put pressure on anyone for her to accept that marriage alliance. Tell the Fortune Shrine about it, I'm sure they'll inform him, said Huashan. His eyes were filled with cold lights. The Fire Shrine was still in charge of killing Lin Feng, even after they had failed. They had even lost a saint, they hated him and wanted to get their revenge. The middle-aged man remained. Huashan was right. Qing Feng had accepted getting married to someone from the Fire Shrine. But if she knew they wanted to use her, would she be happy? After remaining silent for a long time, the middle-aged man finally nodded, as you wish. Thank you very much, uncle, said the two happily. If the middle-aged man hadn't agreed, they wouldn't have been able to force them. The Void Phoenix clan was a powerful clan, and this man had a high social status in the Void Phoenix clan, he was a half-saint already. Luckily, their teacher was friends with him. Since he had nodded, things would be much easier. Uncle, we're off. See you, said the two, bowing before the middle-aged man before leaving. The middle-aged man sat there and sighed. He didn't want to do this, but since Qing Feng had come back, she had disappointed him. At the same time, in the Fortune Shrine, Lin Feng's clone was with Meng Qing, they were looking at the sky and snuggling. Lin Feng, are you in that world? Asked Meng Qing pointing at purple clouds. Lin Feng nodded, yes, purple clouds. Where will you go afterwards? Asked Meng Qing. She didn't know what Lin Feng intended to do. He seemed to be preparing something. After. Lin Feng remained silent for a few seconds and said, I will go back to the holy city in dark clouds. I'll check the holy city, and then I will come back to the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds. He raised his head and looked at the sky again. He wanted to come back to the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds and crush so many people. Chapter 2298, Gathering time slipped away, flew, crawled, and zipped along. In the holy city of dark clouds, the ancient holy clans continued growing stronger, they continued ruling over the main cities of the region. For ancient holy clans to truly weaken or be destroyed, thousands and thousands of years were often necessary, unless they offended a terrifyingly strong cultivator. However, the ancient holy clans weren't worried about such things, because there weren't many people who were stronger than them, and they didn't offend such people. Therefore, it was very difficult to destroy them. In the holy city, the 4 universities, Champion University, Celestial Godly University, Ancient University and 4 Seasons University, were still powerful. The famous ancient holy clans, the Ji clan, the Pei clan, the Ying clan, the Yuan clan, the Ying clan, the Great Imperial Palace, the Canaan Buddhist clan, the King of Hell Palace and so on, were also amongst the strongest groups as well. Champion University and Celestial Godly University were particularly prestigious. Many geniuses wanted to study there. It was a flourishing era for them. Outside of Champion University, 2 young people had appeared. One looked confident and at ease, elegant and handsome. He was wearing cyan clothes and looked a bit unruly. The other one looked completely different. His head reflected sunshine because he had no hair, as he was a Buddhist monk. However, he looked confident and at ease too. There were many people outside of Champion University, but those 2 people drew people's attention. How handsome! Who's that? He's too handsome. And his chi is incredible. He must be a high-level emperor, no, even stronger, thought a young woman, looking at the young man. She was astounded, Ho Qing Lin's chi looked incredible. The 2 people were Ho Qing Lin and Tian Qi. How come Wuxia hasn't arrived yet? Asked Tian Qi these days, they had received a message from Lin Feng. He wanted them to gather in Champion University. Ho Qing Lin had immediately agreed. They hadn't seen each other for so many years, they had all spent time in the remotest corners of the world. They all stopped what they were doing and headed back to the holy city. He'll arrive soon. He bumped onto Jian Mang on the way, so they'll come back together, said Ho Qing Lin softly, smiling indifferently. Women loved men like him. Inside Champion University, some lights glittered. Many people came out and gathered together. They looked imposing and awe-inspiring. Those are Tiantai's people, right? What are they doing? In Champion University, everybody knew about Tiantai. Tiantai was the strongest group of Champion University. Tiantai had many, many disciples. In the future, they'd become terrifyingly powerful. Two groups of disciples came out. The woman leading them came out slowly, her hair pitch black, fluttering in the wind. She was wearing a light golden robe, and looked as proud as a princess. She smiled happily when she saw those two people. Ho Qinglin and Tian Qi smiled broadly. Yun Qin Yen looked great. "Welcome back, second and third brothers," she shouted. Instantly, many people looked at them. They were stunned. Second and third brothers? Tiantai only had two people who they called second and third brothers, Ho Qinglin who carried out reincarnation sword attacks and Tian Qi the Buddhist monk. "It's them. They're back," the crowd gasped with amazement. Ho Qinglin and Tian Qi were Lin Feng's fellow disciples. They were really strong, and now they were back. Brother Ho Qinglin, no wonder he looks incredible. Thought the girl in the crowd who had found Ho Qinglin handsome. "I came to greet you at the cost of a lot of effort," Yun Qin Yen laughed. Ho Qinglin and Tian Qi were speechless. She was too funny. What about Lin Feng? He finished first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, and now we don't see him anymore, Yun Qin Yen pouted. Where was he? Let's go in to talk, Ho Qinglin smiled. He glanced at the members of Tiantai. So many years had passed and Tiantai had become powerful, they had anticipated this. Tiantai was rising, as expected. All right. Yun Qin Yen brought them inside. The crowd kept talking and gossiping. They followed the group of people from Tiantai, wanting to see the legendary cultivators of Tiantai. They had heard many legends about Tiantai, what had happened with the Ji Chang's club at the beginning, and that time when the Ji Chang's club had been destroyed, yet nobody knew if everything was true. 6 hours later, someone wearing black clothes with a sword on his back appeared outside of Champion University. Next to him was a blind man. They both looked dangerously strong. Who are they? Wondered the crowd. Tiantai, my fellow disciples, teacher, Wuxia is back, said Wuxia, smiling widely before entering Champion University with Jian Meng. Wuxia, that's Wuxia from Tiantai. He controls time strength, he's an incredible fighter. And that blind guy must be Jian Meng, he's a blind sword cultivator. He also controls light strength. They're back too. Tiantai's core disciples are back. They were on the Celestial Champion ranking list for a very long time and at some point, it wasn't necessary to have them on the list anymore, said someone. Even though their names had been removed from the list, nobody had forgotten about them. As long as Tiantai existed, people would talk about them. One day later, someone else appeared. He was gigantic, and his teeth were sharp. He shouted, "Brothers and sisters, Tiantai is back." He jumped into Champion University. He wanted everyone to see he was back. On that same day, Lang Yi and Jun Mo Shi also arrived at Champion University. They all came back. The atmosphere grew quite lively in Champion University. Lang Yi and Jun Mo Shi were famous in the entire city. One had an imperial immortal body, the other one had a world king body. Now, they were back in the holy city and they came to Champion University. Champion University had turned into a meeting spot for all those geniuses. It was as if something was about to happen. Why had all these geniuses decided to come back at the same time? All these people had different relationships, but one person connected them. One person, a peerless genius of the continent of the 9 clouds. But he wasn't there, he hadn't come back. Where was Lin Feng? A man and woman appeared outside of Champion University. They stayed outside for a long time and looked at the entrance, smiling. Behind them were some young people and a wooden silhouette. Xiao Yu, we're here. This is Champion University, murmured Mu Chen. Jing Xiao Yu and Mu Chen had been traveling all around the world for a long time, and now they were back. Mu Chen was going to see his disciples, his beloved students. Mu Chen was proud of his disciples. Jing Xiao Yu was proud of his disciples too. Back then, they had risked their lives for him and shouted loudly, Mu Chen is our teacher. Mu Chen and Xiao Yu entered Champion University. Some people welcomed them. Champion University was lively. However, everybody had the sensation someone was missing. Someone was missing and hadn't arrived. Was he going to come back? Chapter 2299, Drunk and Sobering Up. Was Lin Feng going to come back? Lin Feng was obviously going to come back. He had contacted all his friends, how could he not come back? Of course, only someone Lin Feng could make all those people return. They had been separated for such a long time, gathering again was a good thing. In the future, he was going to go through many hardships, more hardships. He needed to become much stronger to put pressure on all the shrines. It was going to be dangerous. If the life shrine hadn't helped him, he would have died already. As everybody was wondering when Lin Feng would come back, a young man arrived at Champion University. He looked ordinary, his chi was ordinary. He didn't draw anyone's attention. Even those who were waiting for him didn't know he had arrived at Champion University. He even passed next to people would have recognized him. People didn't expect Lin Feng's comeback to be like that, he didn't draw anyone's attention. The celestial chi was still incredible at Champion University. Tiantai's headquarters were now in a park. There was a waterfall made of chi. It was isolated from the outside world. People who were practicing cultivation weren't disturbed by anything there. There were many people in the park right now. Lin Feng opened the secret door to the park and entered. In the park, many people were walking, many others were seated cross-legged practicing cultivation. Many people looked at Lin Feng. He was in his real form again, smiling widely. Behind him was a beautiful woman, Tang Yu. "You're back," shouted someone, breaking the calm. Lin Feng turned around and saw two people in a pavilion, Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu. "Teachers, I'm back," said Lin Feng, grinning happily. "It's good that you came back." "It's good," said Emperor Yu, nodding continuously. Lin Feng realized that even though he had become stronger, Emperor Yu didn't look so young anymore. He had many wrinkles. Lin Feng glanced at the crowd, remembering what everybody had gone through because of him in Ba Huang province. He also remembered the old man from the palace of the medicinal kings, who had made Emperor Yu kneel down. When he thought about that, he was suddenly furious again. Nobody could understand what it felt like. He looked like a child when he thought about that. He remembered the good old days when his two teachers taught them cultivation. He thought of the catastrophes in Ba Huang. Emperor Yu saw that their disciples had grown up. They were all very strong. He was very happy now, happy to see all his disciples. He wanted to shout, "They are my beloved disciples." Mu Chen was extremely happy too. Emperor Yu and Mu Chen kept beaming, as if their faces might split. Lin Feng looked over at Jun Mo Shi, Lang Yi, Ho Qing Lin, Tian Qi, Ruo Xie, Jiang Mang, Tan Tai, Huang Fu Long, and he said, "Yu, do you have alcohol?" "It's ready for you," said Tang Yu, laughing. She took out bottles one after another. Lin Feng took them and announced to everybody, "Today, we're going to drink." "Let's drink," agreed Jun Mo Shi, walking forwards. He glanced at Lin Feng, Tang Yu, and Huang Fu Long. "Unfortunately, we never found Fei Yan." "He must be fine," Lin Feng smiled. He threw bottles of alcohol at everybody. Everybody caught at least one. The bottles all broke open. Huang Fulong downed his alcohol, his cheeks turned red and he said, "Time flies, so many years have passed. Let's drink." All those years had passed in the twinkling of an eye. He remembered, back in the days when he hoped he'd get married to Tian Chi Shui. Now, he felt old. Time was cruel and spared nobody. "Let's drink," echoed Jun Mo Shi, raising his bottle and downing his alcohol. His cheeks felt numb. "How awesome," said Jun Mo Shi. So much time had passed, he hadn't allowed himself to rest for a very long time. He had focused on becoming stronger. Lang Yi looked at all his friends and smiled. He downed his alcohol without saying anything. Very quickly, everybody was drunk and it smelled like booze everywhere. Bottles popped one after another. Tang Yu kept throwing bottles at people. Time passed. People didn't talk so much, simple glances were enough. Empty bottles covered the ground. Huang Fulong raised his head and laughed frantically, "We finished all the alcohol." "There's always alcohol left," said Jun Mo Shi laughing loudly, to Tian Tai. "Huh, Jun Mo Shi, you and Lang Yi should join Tian Tai." "To Tian Tai," said everybody, raising more bottles and downing them, then throwing the bottles on the ground. Lin Feng looked at everybody, he was seated on the ground. Mu Chen and Emperor Yu were seated on the ground, too. Lin Feng smiled and said olishly, "Teacher, that alcohol is strong, isn't it?" "It's quite strong, indeed," said Mu Chen nodding and smiling. He was drunk already. "Have a good rest, don't worry about anything," said Lin Feng smiled, before laying down on the grass and looking up at the sky. There were white clouds, the waterfall was filled with celestial chi. Everything was perfect. He was smiling happily. Today was carefree, they just got drunk and forgot their worries. Sleep, everybody finally laid down. Everything was spinning, everybody closed their eyes and started sleeping. They could hear the sound of the waterfall. It became cooler outside and calm. Jing Xiaoyu was lying in Mu Chen's arms, Tang Yuyu walked over to Lin Feng and smiled. She glanced at Yun Qinyan, who had tried to get Ho Qinlin and Ruo Xie drunk, but now she was drunk, too. They had a perfect day. All these people were the pride of Champion University. If anyone had seen them all lying around drunk, they would have been flabbergasted. The next day, early in the morning, it was quite chilly. Lin Feng opened his eyes and glanced around. Most people were still sleeping. Jun Mo Shi was seated on a stone chair. "Mo Shi, why didn't you bring Xiao Dai?" Lin Feng asked Jun Mo Shi. Jun Mo Shi smiled wryly and said, "Lin Feng, how long will we need to live to reach the very top of cultivation?" Lin Feng was surprised and asked, "Did anything happen?" "Xiao Dai and I have been in love for a long time. But because of cultivation, I don't keep her with me, we only meet once in a while. As I become stronger, the distance between her and me gets more and more important. Even though she loves me, a certain distance is created," murmured Jun Mo Shi sighing. Lin Feng was impressed and said, "Xiao Dai is a good girl." "Yes. And she doesn't want to make me feel tired. She's sad. I wish she were strong, she'd be able to travel with me that way," said Jun Mo Shi slowly. "I've thought of giving up cultivation for her, and living an ordinary life with her in the continent of the 9 clouds. But I can't. My dream is to become a strong cultivator. If I bumped into someone strong and I couldn't protect my close ones. How can you live if you're weak anyway? Do your best to give up everything and quickly reach the top, and then you can meet her again. Then, you'll be free and unfettered," said Mu Chen, standing up slowly. "It's your best choice, you can't do like me and give up cultivation." "Maybe," said Jun Mo Shi with a smile. Lin Feng said nothing. Everybody had different purposes in life. Jun Mo Shi had to make his own decisions. People gradually woke up. They had sobered up a little. Teacher, I want to create a sect in the holy city and call it Tian Tai, Lin Feng said to Mu Chen and Emperor Yu. Now. Emperor Yu was stupefied. Is it the right time? Yes. Tian Tai is strong already. We have many great emperors. We can't expand without doing so. Besides, I will get rid of some obstacles, and Champion University will support us, Lin Feng smiled. Emperor Yu and everybody else were astonished. How scary and wild an idea. I'm going to see the ancestors of Champion University to tell them about this. The holy city will become our headquarters, Lin Feng grinned. He had always wanted Tian Tai to reign over the world. Chapter 2300, Hunting. In the holy city, the Ji clan, the Ying clan and the other ancient holy clans had suffered losses back in the days when Lin Feng had killed some of their people, but they were still among the strongest groups of the city. However, behind the scenes, they felt under pressure. For example, the Ying clan was going through difficult times because of Xiao Wu Tian, who kept oppressing them and chasing Ying Cheng. Ying Cheng had already become a celestial emperor. He was strong, but Xiao Wu Tian had become a saint emperor. He could easily oppress Ying Cheng. Of course, the Ying clan had chased Xiao Wu Tian many times, but a saint emperor wasn't easy to kill. Therefore, Xiao Wu Tian wasn't dead, and he continued hunting Ying Cheng. He had nearly killed him a few times, too. Luckily, the Ying clan had granted Ying Cheng some life-saving items. The Ji clan was also going through difficult times. They remembered Lin Feng hated them. It had started with Ji Wuyo, and then had continued getting more and more intense. They had even sent some strong cultivators to kill Lin Feng back then. Nowadays, the Ji clan didn't really care about Lin Feng. They still had some people who paid attention to him, and kept track of his whereabouts regularly. They were scared of him now. They knew that he had ranked first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. They also knew that he had become a core disciple of the Fortune Shrine, which terrified them. After that, they had lost track of him. He had disappeared. They could only hope that he had died abroad. Lin Feng's statue in Champion University only reminded them that Lin Feng could come back someday. Many people appeared in their territory. They weren't from the holy city. They had appeared there during the night. But because they dared mix with the crowd, they drew people's attention. They were everywhere in the territory of the Ji clan. A few people were chatting in a restaurant. The Ji clan is like that too. They're an ancient holy clan, but are they among the strongest groups? Asked someone. There were some young people from the Ji clan there drinking. The young man was making fun of them. The members of the Ji clan looked at him coldly and swore, "Who are you, Your Excellency? How dare you humiliate the Ji clan?" The young man who spoke was wearing black clothes. He said indifferently, "I humiliate the Ji clan, so what?" The restaurant became eerily silent. Someone dared humiliate the Ji clan there. Why provoke them? The members of the Ji clan stood up and slowly walked towards him, releasing an ice-cold chi. "Kneel down and apologize," demanded one of them coldly. "You want me to kneel down?" The young man frowned. Demon lights glittered in his eyes. His chi was terrifying. The young people of the Ji clan suddenly felt cold and scared. The people next to that young man in black clothes didn't even raise their heads. "If you don't kneel down, we'll kill you," vowed the member of the Ji clan. He released oppressive chi. At the same time, the young people at the table raised their heads, their eyes filled with murder. The members of the Ji clan were suddenly terrified. "Die," said all the people at the same time. They released death intent together. The faces of the young people of the Ji clan turned gray. They all released as much chi as they could. A strong wind started blowing. The young man in black clothes moved swiftly. At the same time, the other people released death cosmic energies. Energies began to conflict loudly. The skull of a young man of the G clan exploded, he died instantly. The young man in black clothes looked as if nothing had happened. He sat down again. At that moment, the atmosphere became as cold as death. In the blink of an eye, a young man of the G clan had been killed. The other young people of the G clan were astonished. They wanted to kill these people. They all jumped forwards to attack. Die, said a voice coldly. Very quickly, many corpses appeared in the restaurant. They were from the G clan. There were a lot of them, but they were now softly lying on the ground, dead. Only one of them hadn't fought, he was trembling in fear. They were all dead. None of them were left. He looked at the young man in black clothes before turning around and running away. He was thinking he had to run away quickly, otherwise, these people would kill him to prevent him from talking. But he overestimated himself. Those people are audacious. The crowd was astonished and shaken. Who were these people in black clothes? They were very strong, they could easily kill people of the G clan who had the same cultivation level, and they weren't scared of the G clan and the consequences. If they don't run away quickly, some strong cultivators from the G clan will come and avenge those young people, said someone in the restaurant. But the people in black didn't seem to feel unsafe. They were still sitting there, motionless. As the crowd had expected, some great emperors from the G clan arrived quickly and destroyed the restaurant from the top down. Destructive Tao invaded the atmosphere. Who are you? Talk, demanded a great emperor of the G clan of those emperors in black clothes. Those people just raised their heads and looked at them, remaining silent. You want to die, shouted the great emperor furiously. He descended from the sky. A silhouette rose up instantly to counter, his fist raised. Great punch of destruction, shouted the strong cultivator of the G clan. However, a pitch-black demon Dao fist destroyed his destructive Dao, and continued moving towards him. He shouted desperately as the fist crashed onto his body and blew him apart. He died instantly. Everybody was astonished. The one who had just killed the great emperor went back to his seat. He looked undisturbed, as if nothing had happened. We're in the territory of the G clan here, thought the crowd. They were speechless. How arrogant. They understood that this wasn't over. The G clan just hadn't thought that a great emperor would die so quickly against these people. Their foes weren't weak this time. As they thought that, in the distance, more chi was coming in waves. A group of strong cultivators appeared, their chi rising to the skies. The group of people in the restaurant rose up into the air and released bestial chi. The strong cultivators of the G clan stopped instantly. They shouted, "Who are you?" Clouds surged up, and white wings appeared. The crowd couldn't see the strong cultivators of the G clan anymore. Those wings covered the sky. People's hearts started pounding. Ah, someone screamed. Blood splashed. The beasts moved in all directions and all the strong cultivators of the G clan disappeared. The crowd was astonished and shaking. The strong cultivators of the G clan didn't even have time to react. They finally realized that those people hadn't killed some of their people randomly, it was a plan. They had come to slaughter people from the G clan. People's hearts pounded violently when they realized that these people had come to hunt people from the G clan, an ancient holy clan. They were terrifyingly strong. Who were they? What was really happening? Chapter 2301, Who Wants to Destroy the G Clan? By the time everybody realized what was going on, the beasts in dark clothes had already disappeared. That place was the territory of the G Clan. In every restaurant in their territory, there were traces of the dark fighters. In several places, people were being or had been slaughtered. Quickly, everybody knew about it. Many people in charge of managing the clan reported it to those higher up in the hierarchy. Groups of people kept coming into the main hall of the G Clan. Someone rushed in, looking alarmed and bowed hurriedly. "Speak," said Ji Yuan coldly. That person raised their head and said to Ji Yuan, "Ji Fengshi's group has been killed, none remain." Ji Yuan looked glum. Their people were getting slaughtered all around their territory. Some celestial emperors had even been killed. Ji Yuan was extremely worried. "Has anyone assessed the situation?" asked Ji Yuan coldly. The one who had just arrived pulled a long face. "Speak," said the leader of the Ji clan. "It's a group of cruel murderers. They came here to kill our people. They are terrifyingly strong, but we don't know who they are. They are brutal and violent. They're already everywhere in the Ji clan's territory," he answered, lowering his head. Ji Yuan was furious, his chi emerged from his body. "You're saying that a very strong group wants a war against the Ji clan," said Ji clan. He didn't even dare think about that. The Ji clan had existed in the holy city for such a long time. Someone wanted to start a war against them. Nobody dared imagine the consequences. That person lowered his head, he didn't dare speak. But from what he had witnessed, that was the case. It was impossible to know who those people were, and they hadn't left. Worse, there were more and more of them in the Ji clan's territory. They were everywhere, slaughtering people from the Ji clan. A strong wind started blowing. A silhouette flickered and appeared in the main hall. Ji Yunsong looked at Ji Yuan. "I've heard something terrible was happening." "Uncle." Ji Yuan's looked at him, his mouth wide open. He was nervous and finally said, "Some mysterious group has encircled our clan. Many people have died already." "What did you say?" Ji Yunsong was astonished. Some people had encircled their clan. "A few celestial emperors have died, too," continued Ji Yuan, lowering his head. Explosive chi emerged from Ji Yunsong's body. "Inform ancestor Dang Tian, make the gong clang. Call everyone who's outside back. Activate the great deployment spell." Ji Yuan's face stiffened, he said, "Uncle, is it that bad?" The gong could be heard in all the small worlds of the Ji clan. It could also wake everybody up, even those who were practicing in isolation. The great deployment spell could defend against invaders. "Ji Yuan, those people have encircled the Ji clan, an ancient holy clan. Do you think they're here to play games?" said Ji Yunkong. It was an unparalleled catastrophe. Ji Yuan's mouth twitched. Ji Yunsong's way of dealing with the situation was natural. But how many people dared think that they were really in danger? They were an ancient holy clan, and had been in the holy city for such a long time. Who would dare think they could destroy them? "Go now," said Ji Yunkong. Ji Yuan nodded and left. After a short time, the gong clanged, and everybody heard it in the Ji clan. All the small worlds of the Ji clan trembled. A very old senior official of the Ji clan was in his own small world, practicing cultivation. At that moment, the gong made all the small worlds tremble. He suddenly opened his eyes and golden empty space energies flashed. He suddenly looked stupefied. The alarm gong just clanged. It hasn't clanged for so many years. At the same time, in another small world, an old man with white hair sleeping in the grass suddenly opened his eyes. He had many wrinkles, he was very old, but his chi was terrifying. His eyes looked as sharp as swords. He had lived for a long time, and he hadn't managed to become a saint. Now someone was attacking his clan. Everybody in the Ji clan was panicking. At that moment, the other clans of the holy city didn't know anything, because everything had happened so suddenly. Powerful clans were confident and less vigilant. For example, did the shrines need to think about what would happen in case of sudden attack? No. Therefore, when someone else attacked suddenly and by surprise, it was difficult to react quickly. A few hours later, many people were panicking because there were corpses everywhere, and nobody was picking them up. After people were killed, nobody came to avenge them. It was something unimaginable. The Ji Dang Tian's ancestor, Ji Dang Tian, looked glum. A short time before, a saint emperor of the Ji clan had gone on a trip and had been killed. He had sensed bestial qi. Now everybody sensed bestial qi within the Ji clan. The one who had killed the saint emperor and those who were slaughtering their people on their territory were probably from the same group. But the Ji clan didn't understand who their enemies were, was under great pressure. Finally, qi enveloped the whole clan. Everybody sensed a terrifying bestial qi and death strength. They had the impression they were all going to die. "Who dares offend the Ji clan?" shouted Ji Dang Tian, extremely loudly. Everybody heard him within the territory of the Ji clan. They didn't even know who their enemy was. A silhouette rose up in the air after a short time, accompanied by faint rumbles of thunder. That person's face was pitch black. He looked expressionless while slaughtering people from the Ji clan with explosive bursts of power. It was an incredible thing to see. The buildings of the Ji clan were turning to ashes one after another. Someone was trying to wipe the Ji clan off the map of the holy city. At the same time, strong cultivators had sealed the whole territory. Nobody could enter or leave. The strong cultivators of the Ji clan saw that, of course, and their hearts were pounding. How terrifying! Something horrible was happening in the Ji clan. The enemies wanted to destroy them. "Oh my! What is going on?" murmured a celestial emperor. He released his godly awareness and inspected the region. He couldn't believe his eyes. All the members of the Ji clan were trembling. Had the Ji clan offended some terrifying cultivators? Why did these people want to destroy them? Ji Dang Tian ordered some strong cultivators to protect the inner palaces. He glanced around and looked at the faces of the members of the Ji clan, feeling extremely sad. His poor kin, they might be destroyed for real. Their enemies were extremely fast. They had already destroyed everything across huge distances. Now they were moving towards the depths of the clan. Finally, Ji Dang Tian saw them. He rose up into the air and asked, "Who wants to destroy our clan? Can we at least know that before fighting?" "Continue killing them," ordered another voice coldly. Their enemies started entering the castles. Ji Dang Tian gazed into the distance and saw someone in black clothes. He couldn't see his face. "Activate the Great Deployment spell," said Ji Dang Tian coldly. Dazzling lights filled the air. The inner city of the Ji clan was shining brightly. Destructive strength rolled forth. Ji Dang Tian shouted, "Let's kill them." The battle suddenly became explosive. It was a great war. As it started, the other clans of the holy city finally started hearing about it. A mysterious group had started a war against the Ji clan. They wanted to destroy the Ji clan. Many people from different ancient holy clans gathered together. Among them, some people who had tried to kill Lin Feng back in the days were present: Yuan Taishan, Ying Zichu, and Pei Chongyang. "Do you know who the intruders are?" asked Ying Zichu. "We don't, the territory has been sealed. A great battle is taking place in the inner part of the Ji clan. The atmosphere is sealed so we can't hear anything, but a terrifying group wants to destroy the Ji clan," reported Pei Chongyang, looking grave and stern. If the invaders could pose a threat to the Ji clan, they could pose a threat to their ancient holy clans, as well. Who wanted to destroy the Ji clan? And did they intend to destroy the Ji clan only? Or were other people in danger? Chapter 2302, The Ji clan's destruction. The battle in the Ji clan was explosive. The weakest people on the battlefield were high-level emperors. The Ji clan had sent any people weaker than that to the small worlds. They would have died instantly otherwise. Their mysterious enemies were divided into two groups. One of the armies looked like a group of gods from hell. Their death strength was incredible. Their death cosmic energies killed many people instantly. The strong cultivators of the Ji clan didn't even have time to fight against them. because each time they got close, the death strength killed them instantly. Lin Feng knew what it felt like to face such an army because he had experienced it in the celestial country on the battlefield. The other army was an army of beasts. Bestial chi dashed to the skies around them. They didn't use spells or techniques, they just crushed their enemies with pure strength. Both armies were complementary. The Ji clan had existed for a very long time, and was strong, that went without saying. Their great deployment spell was destructive, and they also controlled destructive Dao. Within the great deployment spell, their strength was intensified. But even with the help of the deployment spell, at the same cultivation level, the members of the Ji clan realized that their efforts were still in vain. The great deployment spell didn't gain them the advantage. It made them realize that even ancient holy clans were not invincible. Everybody in the holy city considered the Ji clan extremely strong, but when facing such an army, they felt extremely weak. The army of gods of hell was composed of geniuses Lin Feng had captured in the celestial country, then turned into demon puppets. They were the most talented geniuses of the celestial country. After capturing them, Lin Feng had made them study all sorts of ancient scriptures, including the celestial evolution holy scriptures. Lin Feng hadn't spared any efforts. Since great emperors couldn't go to the celestial country anymore, Lin Feng had made his demon puppets practice in the continent of the 9 clouds. Regarding the bestial army, it was composed of heroic beasts of the king of the 10,000 beasts world. They were terrifyingly strong. Of course, Lin Feng hadn't brought the best of the best, such as saint emperors. He made them go to the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds because his clone had already heard that the fire shrine wanted Qing Feng to get married to one of their members. He had also informed the fortune shrine that those people were coming, and that they had to get prepared. The people he had taken to the holy city were enough to do what he wanted there. Great emperors kept dying, even some great emperors in Lin Feng's army. However, he looked unmoved. He wanted the strongest heroes, and those who survived were the strongest ones. He needed to have heroes on his side so that he'd be able to deal with the shrine someday. Someone prevented Ji Dang Tian from attacking Lin Feng. The strong cultivators on Ji Dang Tian's side were also under control. However, Ji Dang Tian was staring at Lin Feng, who he believed was the leader of the invading troops. At that moment, Lin Feng finally moved. He turned into a beam of light and death intent filled the air around him. People exploded one after another. Great emperors, celestial emperors, all were surrounded by death strength, and then they turned into corpses and fell from the sky. As they fell, other intruders crushed their bodies to mush. That's perfect Dao strength. Ji Dang Tian's face turned deathly pale. The mysterious cultivator in black clothes had finally attacked, and killed so many people at once. "Ancestor, kill him," shouted Ji Dang Tian furiously. In the distance, an old man with white hair and many wrinkles came out of a castle. When he looked at Lin Feng had the impression he was carrying the whole world on his shoulders. Perfect destructive Dao. Lin Feng frowned. That person's Dao had reached the maximum level. "Die," said Lin Feng. His eyes were filled with death intent. He stared at the old man. Death intent started corroding the old man's life instantly. He was very old, already at the end of his life. Death had already started corroding his body. "Those who kill the members of the Ji clan should die," said the old man. After that, explosion sounds spread in the air. Beasts exploded one after another. His attack was terrifying. "That's the trump card of the Ji clan. An old man who's about to die," thought Lin Feng with a frown. He and a puppet threw themselves at the old man. "Piss off," shouted the white-haired old man. He punched out in the puppet's direction. There was an explosion, and the puppet was smashed away. However, it didn't explode, and it wasn't injured, either. The old man was astonished. But at that moment, Lin Feng landed in front of him and a perfect death Dao shot towards him, while a sword also appeared in front of him. The old man was startled. Even though he was terrifyingly strong and controlled Tao at the highest level, he had failed to become a saint. He was too old. He couldn't endure much strength anymore. When he saw Lin Feng's death Tao and deadly sword, he felt desperate, and couldn't dodge. The old man shouted out and moved. However, Lin Feng's ruler's sword crashed onto his body and destroyed it thoroughly. However, his soul abandoned his body, and he escaped. I don't know how the Ji clan offended such a strong cultivator as you, but I, Ji Yaoshan, will not let you destroy the Ji clan that easily. Even if you're talented, today, you'll have to die, said the blurry soul. Tao power filled the air. It was aimed at anyone who wasn't a member of the Ji clan. It was an incredible thing to see. Ancestor. Ji Dang Tian looked at the old man and shuddered with fear and despair. Who was this enemy? The old man had decided to sacrifice himself to kill their enemies. The soul darted towards Lin Feng. The earth and the sky were trembling as Lin Feng sensed a terrifying soul strength surround him. Lin Feng raised his head and saw a gigantic and terrifying silhouette. The old man wanted to use his most powerful attack against him. It felt like the earth and the sky were attacking him. Die, shouted the silhouette furiously. Lin Feng sensed his soul tremble. He hadn't underestimated the trump card of the Ji clan. Lin Feng flashed forwards, his chi boiling. He released millions of death stamps. His enemy's soul had fused together with the earth and the sky, but Lin Feng could still attack him. The old man was taking a huge risk to try to kill Lin Feng. 9 words appeared around Lin Feng, and he turned into a demon. He stood his ground steadfastly, doing all he could to resist that terrifying destructive strength. Boom boom boom. Lin Feng coughed up blood, but continued attacking. He kept releasing death stamps. The atmosphere around him distorted, and everything around him smelled like death. His enemy was weak, he was too old, and was already approaching death before this battle. Terrifying explosions echoed non-stop. Lin Feng sensed a destructive punch move towards him. He shouted furiously and rose up into the air again. He called out with a sigh, "Rest in peace." The old man heard Lin Feng sigh. That sigh was the result of someone who had lived for a very, very long time, someone who had experienced all the king of the 10,000 beasts' lives and his own, and the countless ones he had dreamt of. Lin Feng condensed more strength. He used an attack he had created himself after reading the scriptures in the Fortune Shrine. He could see his enemy's consciousness and soul. He wanted to destroy them thoroughly. His enemy's soul became much weaker. Millions of death stamps continued assaulting him. His destructive strength kept weakening. Finally, he sighed and asked, "Tell me who you are. Why do you want to destroy the Ji clan?" He knew that it was too late, that the Ji clan was going to be destroyed no matter what. He also thought of his life, and when he was young. If he hadn't been so old, he would have killed Lin Feng, but now it was too late. He couldn't stop Lin Feng. The Ji clan was doomed. "Who are you?" said Ji Dang Tian. He was injured too, and staring at Lin Feng. He looked furious and shouted, "Why do I have the feeling you're from Champion University? I told you, someday, if I became strong, I'd destroy the Ji clan. Now, I came back for that reason," said Lin Feng indifferently. The strong cultivators of the Ji clan were staring at him, the man in black clothes. Lin Feng raised his head and took off his costume. He threw it away and showed his real face. How is this possible? Ji Dang Tian didn't believe his eyes. He feared that Lin Feng would become strong in the future, but he hadn't thought it would be in such a short time. How was this possible? Lin Feng. The strong cultivators of the Ji clan were all astonished and staring at him. Lin Feng, a moment before, had fought against the ancestor of their clan. "It's me, Lin Feng. Back then, the Ji clan harassed me and tried to kill me. Today, I'm here to destroy the Ji clan," stated Lin Feng pitilessly. Chapter 2303, Opening a Sect. Today, I'm here to destroy the Ji clan, said Lin Feng coldly. Ji Dang Tian was trembling. Things had happened so fast. Lin Feng's allies all showed their real faces. Ji Dang Tian was astonished and said, as expected, people from Champion University. Ancestor Shi Tian. Back then, you encircled Champion University, you wanted to kill our disciple. Ji Dang Tian, do you remember that? Said Ancestor Shi Tian coldly. Ji Dang Tian was astonished. Champion University had come back to get their revenge, and helped Lin Feng settle accounts with them. Champion University hadn't forgotten how humiliating that was. So the Ji clan was the first one, said Ji Dang Tian. He said, you sealed the whole territory because you didn't want the three other ancient holy clans to join hands to fight against you. If some saint emperors show up though, Champion University is going to be in trouble. Ji Dang Tian shouted furiously, go and kill. He suddenly rose up in the air, but at that moment, the puppet reappeared and punched him. The earth and the sky trembled. Ancestor Shi Tian grunted coldly. He rose up into the air as well. Lin Feng released death stamps in an endless tide. His death Dao also filled the air. Everything became black as death around them. The wind howled furiously around Lin Feng. The Ji clan's ancestor's soul condensed into a silhouette again and headed towards Lin Feng. He was struggling not to die. You're already about to die, why are you still here? Said Lin Feng coldly. A terrifying absorbing strength appeared, a dragon started chanting. The absorbing strength filled the air, the soul strength turned into a beam of light and penetrated into Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng coughed up some blood, but remained calm. He absorbed the old man's soul thoroughly. The strong cultivators of the Ji clan looked desperate. Lin Feng's death Dao reached across the sky. The strong cultivators of the Ji clan looked devastated, collapsing one after another. Back then, they had sent some great emperors to kill Lin Feng, and now he was killing them all. Nobody had thought such a thing would happen back then. The Ji clan was wiped off the map of the holy city by a mysterious group of strong cultivators, in less than one day. Ashes from bodies and burning buildings flew in the wind above the holy city. Many people were standing on the former territory of the Ji clan, but there was nothing left, no more lofty buildings, no more magnificent palaces, no more life. An ancient holy clan had been destroyed between one day and the next. I can't believe it's true, said someone standing above the ruins. He downed a bottle of alcohol and burped. Who could have destroyed an ancient holy clan? Many people were shaking. In only one day, the Ji clan had been destroyed. Everybody already knew about it in the holy city. Many people couldn't believe it their eyes, though. Many people who lived far away even learned about that and came to check. Something incredible had happened in the holy city. Many people from all sorts of ancient holy clans came to see the ruins. How scary. Many wondered aloud, what could we do if that mysterious group of people attacked us? Would we end up like the Ji clan? Many people felt an unseen pressure now. A few ancestors gathered together in the celestial mountains. 6 people were playing chess. The Ji clan has been destroyed, said an ancestor, putting down his piece. He sounded calm, but his voice also trembled a little. Shi Tian and Xian Tian helped. I've heard that Lin Feng killed an ancestor of the Ji clan, said another ancestor. He was still shocked. First at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, and in less than 20 years, he can kill saint emperors. Had any of you ever thought such a terrifying cultivator would study at Champion University someday? Shi Tian said they will probably attack the 3 other ancient holy clans. I think they want to do it faster this time, so they will just destroy all the obstacles, said another ancestor. Everybody was dumbstruck. At that moment, someone threw a piece away, stood up, turned around, and stated, "I'm going to see Shi Tian." The others were startled. One of them stood up and said, "They must need people, Champion University can do things big this time." He also left. Very quickly, only two ancestors were left, Ancestor Zhu Tian and Ancestor Dong Tian. They were good friends. Zhu Tian, back in the day, you supported Ji Chang and you didn't like Lin Feng that much, said Ancestor Dong Tian. Ancestor Zhu Tian's face stiffened. It was true. He just remained silent, though. Yesterday, I learned from Xian Tian, after persisting, that they intend to do something for Lin Feng after the whole situation calms down, said Ancestor Dong Tian. Therefore, old buddy, think carefully. You missed an opportunity because you lack a sense of judgment. Now it's an opportunity for Xian Tian, and his friend, Lin Feng, is an opportunity. Ancestor Dong Tian sighed and stood up. He gazed into the distance and said, "Admitting we were wrong is nothing shameless." After that, he disappeared and left Ancestor Zhu Tian alone to just blankly look at the chessboard. The Ji clan had been destroyed for a few days already. Many ancient holy clans were getting ready to be attacked. They also dispatched people to investigate that group of terrifying cultivators. However, that terrifying group was dangerous and cruel. Each time they noticed someone was investigating them, they killed them mercilessly. The ancient holy clans couldn't even avenge those they lost. It was night, and many strong cultivators from Champion University entered the Yuan clan, including some ancestors. The Yuan clan had already prepared. They wiped out everything on their way. Very quickly, the Yuan clan, who had joined hands with the Ji clan in the past, was almost completely destroyed. Yuan Taishan roared furiously and glanced around at the strong cultivators who were encircling him. "Why? Who are you?" asked Yuan Taishan, all covered with blood. He kept shaking and shouting. The people in front of him looked mysterious, their faces were covered. When he saw some people behind them, he suddenly laughed frantically. "Oh my, that's the will of heaven then. I never thought such a thing would happen. It's the will of heaven. Come." A mighty chi swept out and overwhelmed him. Very quickly, Yuan Taishan's body disappeared. After destroying the Yuan clan, some people cleaned up the mess and the others went straight to the Yin clan. Like the wind sweeps away leaves on the ground, those cultivators swept away the ancient holy clan's members. 3 days later, some news spread in the holy city about the ancient holy clans. The ancient holy clans were still worried. The Ji clan had been destroyed, then some other ancient holy clans had followed them. Such a thing had never happened in the holy city. Many people were starting to think that those mysterious people were backed up by Champion University, because the ancient clans which had been destroyed were the Ji clan, the Pei clan, the Yin clan and the Yuan clan. Those 4 ancient clans, many years before, had sent some saint emperors and had them encircle Champion University. Such a thing had been humiliating for Champion University. However, a spectacular palace had appeared in the holy city, and many people gasped with amazement when they saw it. For ancient holy clans had been destroyed and now, suddenly, a new group had appeared out of nowhere. People were astonished. After a few days, the news that it was Tiantai's new headquarters spread through the city. Tiantai had established itself in the holy city. They used to be a small group in Champion University, and now they were a real sect. Chapter 2304, 9 Cauldrons for the Champion. Tiantai was now a genuine sect in the city. The news astonished everybody in the holy city. For incredible ancient holy clans had been destroyed by a mysterious group, and now Tiantai was rising in the holy city. Many people were wondering whether there was a connection between those two things. Cultivators really had the power to make things change if they were strong enough. Even though it was easier for them to destroy than to create, this time, Tiantai and Champion University could do something great. Creating a sect in a short time was no problem at all. These days, Tiantai had thousands of disciples. There were also many young people with diverse backgrounds who wanted to join Tiantai. In only 7 days, incredible buildings stood lofty at the top of mountains. There was a gigantic waterfall, forests, grass. Of course, they needed more buildings. A sect was like a small country. In countries, there were many small worlds, and if Tiantai wanted, they could also create their own small worlds. On that day, Tiantai really started rising. Many people came to congratulate them, and many other people also came to see if anything bad was going to happen or not. Tiantai, a small group which had started in Champion University, now drew everyone's attention in the holy city. There was a celestial flight of stairs. Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu were standing there, their clothes fluttering in the wind. They both smiled. Back in the day, they had created Tiantai in order to break free from the small world. They had done all they could, and had taken great risks. There were some disciples from Tiantai who they had never found again. They had the feeling life was just a dream. They had gone through so much. They had never thought that someday, Tiantai would become a powerful group in the holy city, a legendary place to people in the small world. All their disciples were standing under them on the flight of stairs. They all looked extraordinary, brave, outstanding, and experienced, especially those standing just under them from the first batch, the direct disciples. Some people were already great emperors. The air whistled as someone arrived. It was a group of people carrying cauldrons. 8 people carried one cauldron, each cauldron seemed to weigh millions of jin. Those are strong cultivators from Champion University, great emperors. Many people were astonished. Monarchic battle cauldrons. A strong cultivator from Celestial Godly University frowned. His eyes glittered sharply. Indeed, monarchic battle cauldrons, the people from Ancient University were astonished too. Monarchic battle cauldrons are symbols of Champion University. 81 monarchic battle cauldrons have been created. People who receive monarchic battle cauldrons have much higher positions than people who have their statues in Champion University or champions. It's a supreme honor. Even the ancestors of Champion University haven't received monarchic battle cauldrons, murmured someone. Few people knew about the monarchic battle cauldrons, so when they heard that, they all shivered. The monarchic battle cauldrons had an incredible meaning, so why had they taken them out today, the day of Tiantai's inauguration into the holy city? There were 9 monarchic battle cauldrons, and great emperors were carrying them. Tiantai appeared in Champion University, but now they are not really part of the university anymore. They are a sect in the holy city. However, there should be a link between them and Champion University. Champion University is giving them monarchic battle cauldrons to tell everyone that Tiantai is important for Champion University. It's almost a part of them, was many people's opinion. Since when was Tiantai so important to Champion University? Champion University congratulates Tiantai, proclaimed a loud voice. Everybody in the holy city heard the words. 72 great emperors were carrying monarchic battle cauldrons, and they all congratulated Tiantai. However, they didn't give the cauldrons as presents, they put them in 9 different locations. Thank you very much, Champion University, replied Mu Chen with a wide smile. He had never thought Champion University would be so kind to them. He was also astonished when he learned how important the cauldrons were. You're too polite. We're all here to congratulate you as expected, said a loud voice from the horizon. A group of strong cultivators arrived. They all looked enigmatic and unfathomable, the ancestors of Champion University. When the crowd saw them, they shivered. It was rare to see such people, especially at the same time, and now they were all here. What was going on? You're too kind, ancestors, said Mu Chen. He was dumbstruck. He couldn't believe his eyes. He hadn't thought they'd come and congratulate Tiantai personally. The other universities were stunned. Why was Tiantai so important? No need to pay attention to us old people, you can continue, Ancestor Shi Tian smiled as he moved aside. Mu Chen and Emperor Yu looked at the crowd, their disciples, and then gazed into the distance. From now on, Tiantai is a sect in the holy city, declared Mu Chen and Emperor Yu loudly. They weren't as strong as their disciples, but they were the founders of the sect. Nobody dared say anything about that. Lin Feng was among the other disciples, but he didn't come out. Even though a long time had passed, and even though the probability that the shrines had people in the lower world was small, he couldn't show himself. He couldn't give the shrines an opportunity to find him. But now everything was perfect, the ancient holy clans who threatened him had been destroyed, and Tiantai had been created in the holy city. Lin Feng was really happy. Lin Feng knew some terrifying cultivators now. The shrines remained vigilant. Lin Feng was convinced that the shrines didn't want to lose their people's lives for nothing. The members of the fire shrine wanted to use Qin Feng to find him, because she had accepted getting married to one of their members to help Lin Feng. Nobody could refute her promise. The 8 ancestors glanced at one another. Ancestor Shi Tian stepped forward and said, "Today, we didn't come just to congratulate Tiantai. We also came for Champion University students, for the ceremony of the Great Champion." Ceremony of the Great Champion? The crowd was astonished. Back then, Lin Feng could have been a champion, but he hadn't, and now they wanted to declare him a champion? Since Lin Feng was first and foremost one of Tiantai's disciples, and he became a student of Champion University afterwards, now that Tiantai is here, we'll organize the ceremony here. Apart from Lin Feng's statue in Champion University, we'll also have another one made of him for Tiantai. Is that alright? Ancestor Shi Tian asked, smiling at Emperor Yu and Mu Chen. Of course it's alright, answered the two, shaking their heads and smiling. They were extremely happy. Champion University was organizing a champion ceremony for Lin Feng. Good, smiled Ancestor Shi Tian. In the distance, some people rose up in the air. A gigantic statue appeared. Many students from Champion University were behind it. Where should we put it? Asked Ancestor Shi Tian to Mu Chen. There, if possible, said Mu Chen pointing at the center of the main public square. He was a hero to Tiantai, so that place was perfect. Good. Ancestor Shi Tian smiled and waved his hand. Champion University students took the statue to the plaza center and slowly put it down. It was 100 meters high. Lin Feng smiled wryly. He hadn't thought Champion University would do this. Today is the ceremony, there will be no champion crown, only monarchic battle cauldrons. The 9 cauldrons are Lin Feng's crowns, said Ancestor Shi Tian. The 72 cultivators put the 9 cauldrons in front of the statue. Lin Feng looked like a peerless and heroic warrior. Champion University officially announces that Lin Feng is the champion, the king of the continent of the 9 clouds, said Ancestor Shi Tian loudly. The crowd shivered. He had not said Champion University, he had said the continent of the 9 clouds. The members of Celestial Godly University, Ancient University, and Four Seasons University all pulled a long face. Some smiled coldly on the inside. King of the continent of the 9 clouds? How arrogant! How insolent, spoke up someone instantly. How could Champion University decide who the king of the continent of the 9 clouds was? Could Lin Feng be considered the king of the continent of the 9 clouds just because he had finished first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds? Chapter 2305, Pressure. Calling someone the king of the continent of the 9 clouds was a bit funny actually. The continent of the 9 clouds was extremely vast, who could be considered its king? And now that Champion University dared call Lin Feng the king of the continent of the 9 clouds, it meant they considered everybody else beneath their notice. Lin Feng was astonished too, he hadn't thought they'd proclaim him as both champion and king of the continent of the 9 clouds. But since they did it, he just smiled indifferently. It was just a title on top of that, and Lin Feng didn't really care about titles. Besides, Lin Feng was more ambitious than that. He didn't care about being strong in the continent of the Nine Clouds, he wanted to be at the very top, he wanted to dominate the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. However, Lin Feng was surprised because Champion University had dared call him the champion of the continent of the Nine Clouds. Didn't they care about the other universities? The other universities were angry about it, but Lin Feng didn't care about that. His state of mind had changed, they didn't scare him anymore. Tiantai is nothing. They're just a small group of disciples from Champion University. Tiantai is a tiny group in the Holy City. Champion University organizing such a ceremony is a bit over the top. Aren't you afraid of losing your credibility? Spat a strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University coldly. Celestial Godly University also had an incredible cultivator, Chu Chun Chiu, but they didn't organize such an ceremony for him. Of course, if Chu Chun Chiu came back to Celestial Godly University, they would organize a great party, that was obvious. Does it have anything to do with you? Said Ancestor Shi Tian, turning to him. Today, it's Jintai's creation. Anyone can come to watch, nobody forced anyone to come. People who are here to congratulate them. If you don't like what you see here, piss off. The strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University was astonished, and grimaced. Champion University and Celestial Godly University were both universities in the Holy City, and Champion University was talking to Celestial Godly University that way because of Tiantai. It was extremely humiliating. Good, Champion University, good. Of course, what you do has nothing to do with me. But I was just worried about you because everybody in the Holy City is going to make fun of you. Lin Feng is not even here, and not only are you offering cauldrons in his honor, but you're also proclaiming him king of the continent of the Nine Clouds. Don't you feel ashamed? Your ancestors must be alive, have they ever been called king of the continent of the Nine Clouds? Retorted the strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University coldly. The members of Celestial Godly University were all staring at him. Ancestor Shi Tian said coldly, Tiantai and Champion University are allies. If anyone dares insult and humiliate Tiantai again, Champion University will take it personally, and will kill them. Energy started building up with whistles. Everyone was astonished. Champion University dared act that aggressively in front of Celestial Godly University. As expected, the strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University shut his mouth. He couldn't fight against the 8 ancestors of the Champion University. Ancestor Shi Tian turned around and the ancestors landed on the ground. They appeared in front of Jintai's disciples in a line. Lin Feng, Champion University proclaims you a king today, said Ancestor Shi Tian smiled. Everybody was stupefied. Was Lin Feng there? Lin Feng? Where was Lin Feng? The crowd turned around and looked at the members of Tiantai. Was he in there? Even the students of Champion University and many disciples from Tiantai looked for Lin Feng. Was he there? Lin Feng? Some strong cultivators from various powerful groups shivered. If Lin Feng was there, it meant that he was there when the 4 ancient holy clans had been destroyed. Back then, there were tensions between Lin Feng and them. Maybe the legends are true, that Champion University destroyed the 4 ancient holy clans. They wanted to avenge Lin Feng because he's now a disciple of the Fortune Shrine and he's talented, ventured some people. Regarding the destruction of the 4 ancient holy clans, those were details only known to insiders. Lin Feng smiled wryly. He couldn't hide anymore, his face changed and he raised his head, taking off his robe. It's brother Lin Feng, indeed. He looks just like that statue. Brother Lin Feng, he's back in the Holy City, and we didn't know it. How handsome. Just like the statue. And he looks extraordinarily strong. The students of Champion University were amazed. Lin Feng was a member of Champion University, just like them. He had achieved so much, he had amazed the whole city back in the days, and now Champion University called him the king of the continent of the 9 clouds. That wasn't necessary, ancestor, said Lin Feng, shaking his head with a smile. You refused to become a champion back in the days, now you're a king. Isn't it great? Ancestor Shi Tian smiled. Lin Feng was touched and moved. The ancestors were strong, and with their support, Tiantai would face less trouble. Tiantai and Champion University could become terrifying groups in the holy city together. Lin Feng, shouted someone at that moment. Lin Feng turned around and saw Ancestor Zhu Tian. Ancestor Zhu Tian said, back then, my sense of judgment failed me, and I failed to see how strong and talented you were. I feel guilty and ashamed. If I offended you back in the days, I'm very sorry. I'm happy that you've become the king of the continent of the 9 clouds now. An ancestor of Champion University was apologizing to Lin Feng publicly. Champion University's disciples were astonished. Was Lin Feng that strong, powerful, and influential already? An ancestor of Champion University was apologizing to Lin Feng publicly. Don't mention it, those were insignificant things, Lin Feng smiled. He really didn't take them to heart, and he had gotten rid of Ji Chang a long time ago. Now the ancestor had apologized in front of everybody, Lin Feng couldn't blame him for anything. Ancestor Zhu Tian smiled in relief and nodded approval. Lin Feng, I hope you'll become the real king of the continent of the 9 clouds soon. Lin Feng smiled, but said nothing. The ancestors already talked to Lin Feng like someone who had the same social status. Lin Feng had become that influential. Lin Feng is in the holy city, said someone at that moment. Many new people appeared. The ancestors of Champion University were startled. Some of the most powerful cultivators of the other universities had arrived. It means that Champion University destroyed the 4 ancient holy clans, said a strong cultivator at that moment. Champion University went too far, they said coldly. Lin Feng frowned. Tiantai is just a bunch of young people, and now Champion University is supporting them like this. But you're only doing it because Lin Feng finished first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, and is now a member of the Fortune Shrine. You're using your students to get closer to the shrines. How shameless. Those people sounded really angry, as if they were there to punish Champion University. Everybody, today is Tiantai's inauguration day, can you talk about those things another time, asked Mu Chen. The disciples of Tiantai all pulled long faces. Shut up. Who do you think you are to talk to me, you weakling, said that person coldly. He released oppressive energies, which surrounded Mu Chen. Mu Chen took a few steps backwards. Humph. You think that because Champion University helped you set up in the city center, you're really strong? Don't overestimate yourselves, said someone else. These people had come with a goal, to confront Champion University. These last few years, because of Lin Feng's reputation, many geniuses had decided to study at Champion University. Now that Tiantai had been established in the holy city, Lin Feng's influence was expanding even more. With Champion University, they could become too influential. It would have bad consequences for the 3 other universities. Therefore, they wanted to put pressure on them. Of course, they couldn't attack Lin Feng directly, verbally or physically, because he was a disciple of the Fortune Shrine. Therefore, they didn't talk to him. However, they didn't know that by insulting Mu Chen, they had already infuriated Lin Feng. He could be patient, he could ignore a lot of things, but he couldn't tolerate other people insulting his fellow disciples, teachers, family members. And the gratitude he had for his 2 teachers couldn't be described with words. The universities have access to more information than ancient holy clans. Maybe they know things people don't regarding the destruction of the ancient holy clans, arose the whispers, especially those from other ancient holy clans. They were happy to see that the 3 other universities put some pressure on Champion University. You're insolent, said Ho Qing Lin and the other disciples of Tiantai. They were furious. The direct disciples of Tiantai were all like Lin Feng, they couldn't let anyone insult their teachers. They cared about their teachers more than about themselves. What? Tiantai, a new and tiny little group wants to see how strong they are in comparison with us universities, replied one of them coldly. Tiantai. We can easily destroy it. Say that again, said a voice coldly. The crowd turned around and saw Lin Feng slowly rise up into the air. Lin Feng, the one who had ranked first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, hadn't shown up in the holy city for a long time. Chapter 2306, Astonishing Battle. According to legends, back in the days, Lin Feng had fought alone against 8 geniuses, and had crushed them. Back then, Lin Feng had killed Ji Chang. Back then, Lin Feng finished first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds and amazed the whole continent. Those were only some of Lin Feng's achievements. People in the holy city were still astonished by his deeds. Now, Lin Feng was a disciple of the Fortune Shrine, and terrifyingly talented. His position had changed. No wonder Champion University attached so much importance to him and called him a king. However, from what the crowd could see, even though Lin Feng was extremely talented, 20 years had passed since he had finished first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds, and he had only become a celestial emperor. How could he fight against saint emperors? The strong cultivators of the Fortune Shrine weren't going to come and help him. But at that moment, Lin Feng rose up into the air and threatened some saint emperors. The universities of the holy city were much stronger than the ancient holy clans. However, Lin Feng didn't mind. He looked at that saint emperor icily, his eyes filled with murder. The saint emperor frowned. Did Lin Feng want to die? Humph, that person grunted coldly, staring at Lin Feng, and said, why would I repeat myself? I don't think Tiantai wants to see who's stronger between them and us, anyway. Even though you're talented, you'll still need another 30 years at least before being qualified to stand in front of me. 30 years? Ancestor Shi Tian smiled coldly. The 8 ancestors stepped forwards and released a terrifying qi. The strong cultivators who had just arrived were stupefied, staring at the ancestors of Champion University. Would they dare fight against the 3 other universities? However, the 8 ancestors of Champion University surrounded the one who had just insulted Mu Chen and looked at him coldly. The only person facing him directly was Lin Feng. Lin Feng released cold energies, and death strength surrounded him. Everything became gray around him. What's going on? The saint emperors of the other universities were astonished. It was so cold, their souls were shaking. The death intent was penetrating into their bodies. Lin Feng's death Dao filled the air. Black lights twinkled everywhere. The saint emperor's face turned deathly pale and gray. Maximum level Dao, that's, his heart was pounding. How could Lin Feng's Dao be at the maximum level? It meant that he met one of the requirements to become a saint already. Maximum level Dao. With the power of his mind, he could destroy whole cities in the blink of an eye. Lin Feng took a step forwards, and 2, and 3. Each time he took a step forwards, the Saint Emperor heard a funeral bell clang in his head. However, he was a Saint Emperor, his vitality and intent were incredible and explosive. He started expelling the death strength from his body. Suddenly, the source of the 9 netherworlds appeared and collided with the death strength. People on the ground were astonished. That's Brother Lin Feng, he's so strong. In such a short time, he's able to fight against Saint Emperors. The students of Champion University were astonished and amazed. No wonder he had finished first at the meeting of the continent of the 9 clouds. He was terrifyingly strong and talented. Would he really need 30 more years to compete with the Saint Emperor? It wasn't over. A peerless king weapon strength emerged from Lin Feng's body and condensed into a sword in the sky, and he infused godly strength into it. That sword vibrated and fused together with death strength. Lin Feng's chi surged, he used his full strength to condense that sword. Nobody knew how powerful that sword attack was. Path of a cultivation god, forbidden strength, unmatched sword. It felt like the whole world was about to turn into a sword. The Saint Emperor kept releasing chi, but he was oppressed, and his chi was weakening. The ancestors of Champion University who encircled him were completely astonished. Was that Lin Feng's own strength? He was already so strong. Lin Feng's robe was fluttering in the wind. People around didn't look at him as a student of Champion University or a disciple of Tiantai anymore. With his strength, he could be the patriarch of a sect, or a great scholar respected for learning and integrity. His sword looked like the sword of a god. 30 years, you really think too highly of yourself, Lin Feng said calmly. He looked like a god. The strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University couldn't believe his eyes. Die, said Lin Feng. He condensed the strength of the 10,000 things of creation in his god sword which streaked across the sky towards the strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University. The strong cultivator of Celestial Godly University shouted defiantly even as he sensed some cursing strengths around him. He couldn't see clearly anymore. He didn't know which side the sword was attacking from anymore. Sword lights glittered in front of him. This was one of Lin Feng's most powerful attacks. It contained all sorts of strength and had no weakness. It even diffused cursing and soundwave strength. When the Saint Emperor released an attack to protect himself, it was already too late. The crowd saw dazzling lights absorb the Saint Emperor and crush him, before he turned to smoke and dispersed. Lin Feng was standing in the sky, looking like a god. 30 years to compete with him, repeated the crowd. How ridiculous. One sword attack and he had been defeated. From now on, one more sentence will be added to my university's ranking list. Champion University offered 9 cauldrons to Lin Feng, and he killed a Saint Emperor in one sword attack. Exclaimed some students of Champion University. They were very excited. This guy was their fellow disciple, and a peerless genius. Wait, so the 4 ancient holy clans, the crowd realized suddenly. Lin Feng had come back to destroy his old enemies. It was as if everything became clear all of a sudden. Brother Lin Feng had done that. Who was the mysterious army, though? At that moment, the strong cultivators of the other 3 universities were trembling. Lin Feng looked at them and said coldly, "Get down." The strong cultivators of the 3 universities grimaced. How insolent. However, they realized that Lin Feng had probably destroyed the 4 ancient holy clans, so they didn't dare act recklessly. The universities have existed for a long time. Some of them are like some ancient holy clans, they like to act arrogantly in front of other people, said Lin Feng evenly. A cold wind brushed against those people. What did Lin Feng mean? Get down. People from 4 Seasons University descended from the sky, which made the crowd frown. 4 Seasons University acknowledged Lin Feng. After that, Ancient University also descended from the sky. Lin Feng looked at the members of Celestial Godly University and finally, they descended from the sky. The crowd looked at Lin Feng and shivered. Lin Feng had become so influential that he could put pressure on 3 universities. He looked like a conquering hero. Everybody, in the future, you better assess your own strength properly before saying anything you could regret. Even if a group has existed in the holy city for thousands of years, they can be destroyed from one day to the next, Lin Feng went on patiently. The universities and ancient holy clans were all astonished. Had Lin Feng truly destroyed the 4 ancient holy clans? Tiantai is here now. Everybody else can leave, said Lin Feng indifferently. It was enough for the day. Lin Feng had also destroyed the 4 ancient holy clans for Tiantai to rise in peace. Now, they would be unstoppable. Some people left dispirited, some people left amazed. Some people stayed because they wanted to become members of Tiantai. Lin Feng left. He had shown how strong he was already, that was enough. He had to be careful because the shrines were looking for him. Lin Feng went back to Champion University. In the Celestial Mountains, there was a woman. She looked aloof from worldly strife like a celestial being. She looked happy, relaxed, and light-hearted and yet slightly cold. She was practicing cultivation. At that moment, she slowly opened her eyes and saw someone in the distance. Chapter 2307, Ancient World. Shui Bagio looked at Lin Feng. He looked familiar, but she didn't recognize him. Ancestor Shi Tian was behind Lin Feng. He said to Lin Feng telepathically, in order not to disturb her cultivation, I won't make her remember the past. Her memory is getting worse and worse, she has no long-term memory anymore, and her short-term memory is also getting worse each day. But she seems to understand rules, and each time she senses she's about to forget what she was just experiencing, she comes back here to practice cultivation. Lin Feng was astonished and replied, does she practice cultivation faster and faster, though? If her memory was worsening, it could mean that she was practicing faster and faster. Indeed, she's becoming really strong. As she accumulates strength in her body with time, she becomes more and more terrifying, but each time, her cultivation resets. Anyway, I have to admit the selfless scriptures are truly fearsome, said Ancestor Shi Tian. He was astonished. He had thought that Shui Bagio would remember everything after breaking through to the Di-Chi layer, but she was already a celestial emperor, and her cultivation speed was unearthly. Some people in the outside world would be astonished by her cultivation speed, said Ancestor Shi Tian telepathically. Lin Feng nodded. Chu Chunqiu's speed was incredible already, but no wonder Shui Bagio was a reincarnation. She had forgotten her previous lives. That was an advantage compared to ordinary people who remembered their previous lives. However, during the first 20 years of her life, she hadn't progressed quickly at all. She will probably remember who she is when she breaks through to the Xingdi layer. She might even remember her previous lives, whispered Ancestor Shi Tian. Shui Bagio looked at Lin Feng and said, who are you? Why do I have the impression that I know you? I'm Lin Feng, we were good friends in the past, said Lin Feng, smiling at Shui Bagio. As expected, she had forgotten about him again. Lin Feng, repeated Shui Bagio. She whispered, you look very familiar. Lin Feng smiled at Shui Bagio, when you recover your memories, you will remember me. Alright, Shui Bagio nodded. Continue practicing cultivation so that you can recover your memories quickly, said Lin Feng calmly, before he and Ancestor Shi Tian left. Shui Bagio focused on cultivation. She remembered nothing. Since she had decided to study the selfless scriptures in her previous life, she had no choice now. Lin Feng left the Celestial Mountain and went somewhere to meet Lang Yi. What's wrong? Lin Feng asked Lang Yi, who had just contacted him. An elder of the World Clan wants to see you, Lang Yi said to Lin Feng. Where? Lin Feng was extremely surprised. Why would an elder of the World Clan want to see him? The World Clan was an ancient clan. In the past, they used to be like the Snow Clan, but then something had happened to them and they had to hide in dark clouds. They didn't seem to care about the outside world. He's in Champion University already, where Tiantai used to be, said Lang Yi. Let's go, Lin Feng agreed. What did that elder want from him? When they arrived, Lin Feng saw the elder from the World Clan. He had the demeanor of a transcendent being, he had a very long beard, and a robe with the 8 trigrams on it. He glanced at Lin Feng, smiled, and nodded, so young and you can already kill Saint Emperors, you're extremely talented. No need to be polite, Lin Feng smiled back. Have a seat. Alright, the elder nodded. He went on, Lin Feng, we've heard about the things that happened to you in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds. Appearance of a forbidden body, the shrines want to kill you, you're the shrine's first target now. So the World Clan isn't completely isolated from the outside world, Lin Feng noted, amused. The World Clan has been silent for a very, very long time, but we have always wanted to rise again. How could we isolate ourselves from the outside world completely? Nowadays, Lang Yi, who has a king-type body, is slowly rising. I hope he will become extremely strong, and he'll help the World Clan come back to life, said the elder. Lin Feng inquired mildly, so the World Clan is eager to come back to life, will you come out of the mountains? Indeed, said the elder, somewhat eagerly. We want to march into the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. March into the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. Lin Feng was astonished. The World Clan had been hiding for such a long time, had they accumulated so much strength already? Do those things have anything to do with me? Asked Lin Feng. He was curious. The World Clan had been hiding for a very long time, and now they wanted to rise again, so why were they looking for him? He had good relations with the World Clan, but he was not very important at the scale of the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, his influence was limited there. On top of that, the shrines wanted to kill him. The World Clan needs someone to support them. I would like to have you as an ally. If we go to the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds together, we'll be able to gain a firm foothold and establish ourselves. Your disguise abilities are incredible. If you disguise yourself and go to the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds with us, you can pretend you're from the World Clan. Wouldn't it be perfect? That person grinned knowingly. Lin Feng's eyes glittered. The World Clan wanted to help him. If he did that, he would be able to avoid some trouble there. As the World Clan had disappeared for such a long time, even if there was a very strong cultivator among them, nobody would find it strange. But that wouldn't be useful for the World Clan at all. Lin Feng didn't understand why the World Clan wanted to do that. In the past your wife was extremely strong. Now you're strong, we hope you can help us rise in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, the elder explained. Lin Feng was surprised. The World Clan probably knew he was a forbidden person. Lin Feng smiled and said, all right, since you are willing to do that, how could I refuse? I can't wait, agreed the strong cultivator of the World Clan cheerfully. Both of them smiled. They had an agreement. Lin Feng didn't know how strong the World Clan was just yet. He had already shown up in the Holy City. He couldn't stay here for too long. Each time he met his friends, it was for a short, yet wonderful time. Nobody in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds knew what Lin Feng had done in the Holy City, and even if some people learned about it, it would be too late already. In the northwest area of the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, the marriage alliance between the Fire Shrine and the Void Phoenix clan was still fermenting. Everybody in the northwest area knew what had happened between Lin Feng and the shrines. Because of Lin Feng, all the shrines had joined hands, and worse, the Fire Shrine had lost a saint. Now something extremely strange had happened in the northwest area. Suddenly, a new group had emerged. They were extremely strong, with an army of heroes. They instantly started competing with people from the northwest area, stealing resources and territories without the slightest scruple. But because they hadn't become as important as other Holy Sage ruler clans, people didn't really pay attention to them. Something else drew people's attention: a terrifyingly strong celestial emperor from the demon shrine was killed. All the shrines paid attention to that news item because that celestial emperor was a genius and had a great reputation in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. However, someone had killed him. Some people were even amused because the family name of the killer was Mo, a traditional family name in the demon shrine, and he had killed people from the demon shrine. After that, some people said that the one who had killed him wasn't famous, he was around 30 years old, and when he was only 20, he was already terrifyingly strong. He had started practicing cultivation as an infant. His Tao strength was incredible. In another world, hell, he was famous. He was from the Hell Shrine, and in Hell, it was said that such geniuses only appeared every million years. Now he was in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds and fighting against other strong cultivators. His name was Mo Zheng, the demonic punisher. Chapter 2308, Mogia's battle stage. Some geniuses of the demon shrine were killed by the demonic punisher. Of course, they weren't going to leave the matter at that. However, since Mo Zheng the demonic punisher always killed people of the same cultivation level, the demon shrine couldn't send stronger cultivators to kill him. He was from the Hell Shrine, after all. But the demonic punisher couldn't just leave it be. A celestial emperor of the demon shrine invited many people. Of course, he also invited Mo Zheng. The crowd knew why. On that day, many people went to the meeting point, ancient demon city's Mogia's battle stage. According to legends, the founder of the demon shrine was a demon god, and he had fought on that battle stage. He had killed many, many people. He had become a symbol for many demon cultivators. The Mogia's battle stage was surrounded by 8 flags. On each flag, there was a demon shield and blood stains. There were many strong cultivators around the battle stage. Gongs clanged ceaselessly. It was quite lively. Many extremely strong cultivators were present. Shui Jingshao is with Di Chan now. He is a genius from the Snow Clan who is now a member of the Ice and Snow Shrine. Lin Foam went to the Snow Clan and defeated him. The first of the meeting of the continent of the Nine Clouds doesn't have an undeserved reputation. Many people were looking at someone from the Snow Clan, Shui Jingshao. Next to him were Di Jiang and Di Chan, as well as some other strong cultivators of the Snow Clan. Brother Di Jiang, Brother Jingshao, called out a few people at that moment. They were from the Fire Shrine, Huixing Zi and Huishang. Brother Huishang, are you not preparing Huixing Zi's wedding? How come you have time to come here? Asked Di Jiang with a warm smile. We're not in a rush. Mo Fu invited so many people, how could we miss the battles? Replied Huishang cheerfully. Mo Fu was the one who wanted to fight against Mo Zheng. The demon shrine couldn't get involved directly, so people of the same generation had to solve the issue themselves. Those people were all famous and smart, they knew what to do. The shrines wouldn't get involved, unless Lin Feng showed up, or unless things derailed. He's here, said Di Jiang at that moment, gazing into the distance. A few new people had arrived, some strong cultivators of the demon shrine, and Mo Fu was there too. Everybody watched the strong cultivators of the demon shrine, as many people from different shrines were there. Mo Zheng had drawn many people's attention. How lively! Someone else arrived, his silhouette flickering a few times. His eyes were golden. Empty space shrine strong cultivator. Ha 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 ha, someone laughed loudly in the distance. People gazed into the distance and saw some dragon strength. Dragon chant. The crowd saw a few people. Their chi was wild and extraordinary. The eyes of the leader were filled with flames. The one next to him had red eyes, and the one behind looked calm and aloof. He was wearing black clothes. His chi wasn't explosive, but his pitch-black eyes looked scary. Aili. Huishang was astonished, staring at one of them who had fire-red hair. He frowned and said coldly, "You came to the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, to ancient demon city? What's wrong? Why wouldn't I come, little boy?" Aili asked Huishang in a brutal tone of voice. The crowd was stupefied. Aili wasn't ordinary. He dared call Huishang little boy. They were powerful cultivators from the Supreme Animal World. Supreme Animal World's Dragon Clan. The crowd was really astonished. Those people were from the Dragon Clan of the Supreme Animal World. Those who could found clans in the Supreme Animal World were terrifyingly strong. The Supreme Animal World was the only group the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds feared, because they had some terrifying clans, like the Dragon Clan. Human strength lay in their cultivation, animals were different, they had inherent abilities. Why did the dragon clan come to ancient demon city? Asked the strong cultivator with the golden eyes. He looked sharp and aggressive. We came to see if there was anyone strong here, Aeoli smiled. He was a fire dragon, and when he was very young, he had fought against some young people of the shrines. The shrines and the supreme animal world often had meetings and cultivation competitions, but nobody really knew the details. Of course, the purpose was always to check out how strong the enemy was. Those people rarely showed up in the outside world, so people didn't know much about them. It's a blood dragon, and there's a demon dragon, too, said the strong cultivator with the golden eyes. He was staring at Aeoli. Even though the void-breaking vision is powerful, you're underestimating the members of the dragon clan. Be careful, I could eat you alive, Aeoli snorted coldly to the empty space cultivator. Humph. Are you strong enough? Spat the empty space shrine strong cultivator. The crowd looked at Aeoli and the two other people, the blood dragon and the demon dragon. They were all from prestigious dragon families. Let's try and we'll see, replied Aeoli coldly. If you want to try, then let's try, said the empty space shrine strong cultivator. Two threads of strength rolled out and collided. People were speechless. Mo Zheng hadn't even arrived, the demon shrine and Mo Zheng's battle hadn't even started, and now the dragon clan and the empty space shrine were already starting to fight. At that moment, another group of people arrived. Their leader was wearing a world robe, looking confident and at ease. At his sides were extraordinary-looking cultivators. Some of them also emitted bestial qi. The leader of the group was Lin Feng. They landed on the ground and calmly glanced around. Lin Feng looked over at the three dragons. So many years have passed, that little boy has grown up, Lin Feng smiled indifferently, but nobody noticed him. In the distance, people raised their heads and heard a sonic boom as the person who made it arrived. When they saw him, people frowned. He looked like a demon, imposing and awe-inspiring. His eyes looked like two abyssal caves. Mo Zheng. The strong cultivators of the demon shrine all watched him. Mo Zheng landed on a flag, his hands clasped behind his back. He glanced at the members of the demon shrine and asked coldly, which member of the demon shrine wants to die today? When the crowd heard him, they frowned. How arrogant. The other times, they had just heard of him, but they hadn't seen him. He put on an air of extreme arrogance. Everybody knew him in hell, he was a core disciple of the Hell Shrine. But Mo Fu is also terrifyingly strong. I wonder who will be stronger, thought the crowd. They were not disappointed. There were many geniuses. No rush. Many people want to fight today, so the battle between the Demon Shrine and the Hell Shrine can be at the end, said Huashang cheerfully. He watched the strong cultivator from the empty space shrine and Aeoli going at it. He really wanted to know how strong Aeoli was. Indeed, there are so many strong cultivators, let's compare ourselves. We should all take advantage of Mogia's battle stage, someone else agreed at that moment. Dazzling golden lights appeared at the top of a flag. It was a strong cultivator from the Gold Shrine. If you want to exchange views on cultivation, then hurry up, said Mo Zheng indifferently. He was standing on the top of the flagpole, his robe fluttering in the wind. Chapter 2309, Strong cultivators from everywhere. The crowd watched Mo Zheng atop the flagpole, a genius from the Hell Shrine. His qi was extraordinary. Many strong cultivators had come to Mogia's battle stage. They had come to exchange views on cultivation, including many people from other shrines, some people from holy sage ruler clans, and some people just to watch. Huashang, if you want to fight, just fight, talking is useless. I'll be happy to devour you alive, said Aeoli proudly. His eyes were filled with flames. He was a fire dragon, and Huashang was a disciple of the fire shrine. Aeoli wanted to see how powerful Huashang's fire was. Let's do it then, let's fight, said Huashang agreeably. He jumped onto Mojia's battle stage, fire surrounding his body instantly. Huixingzi also walked onto the battle stage. Aoshu, let's go, said Aili to Aoshu. Aili landed opposite them and said, Huixingzi has the same cultivation level as you, he's yours. Aoshu nodded. Back in the day, when Mo Zheng had first appeared in the outside world, he was already a high-level imperial beast in the animal supreme world. Now, many years had passed, and he was already a celestial imperial beast. His cultivation level seemed very stable, and his fighting abilities were probably incredible. He was a real dragon, so he had an inherent talent. Anyone else want to play? Come here. We're not here to kill, we're here to exchange views, for real, said Aili. Someone groaned coldly. It was the empty space shrine's strong cultivator. He jumped onto the battle stage. Di Jiang smiled and said, Jing Shao, let's go and have some fun. Shui Jing Shao muttered to himself irresolutely. Last time, in the Snow Clan, he had suffered a crushing defeat against Lin Feng. At the same time, the Snow Clan's reputation had been crushed. One of their monarchs had died, two had been taken away, he was the last one left. It was a tragedy, he had to fight to regain face. He nodded and jumped onto the battle stage. There were so many strong cultivators on Mojia's battle stage. I want to have some fun too, said Gu Xianfeng. He was from the Demon Shrine, he had come with Mo Fu. During the meeting of the continent of the Nine Clouds, he had tried to kill Lin Feng, who had strength at the top of the Huang Qi layer. Now, he was like Huixingzi, he had broken through to the Tiandi layer. Even though he had become a celestial emperor a short time before, he was a cultivator from a shrine, and very strong. The people next to Lin Feng seemed excited and eager to try. Lin Feng smiled and said, no rush. We'll see afterwards. Lin Feng had brought Qinghai's rock and the others. He had also brought some celestial imperial beasts from the army the king of the 10,000 beasts had given to him. They were all extremely strong. They wanted to compare themselves with the geniuses of this world, it was normal. The strong cultivators on the Mojia's battle stage already started fighting. The battle stage was on fire. There were powerful blood lights around Aoshu. Dao Power kept assaulting his opponent, trying to crush him. At the same time, some illusionary blood dragons bared fangs and brandished claws as they attacked. Huixingzi grunted coldly. He took out a fire mace and attacked the dragons, which made them roar furiously before they started burning. Die, shouted Aoshu, punching out in his opponent's direction. Huixingzi was startled, his fire mace instantly disappearing. He swallowed and released more fire which surrounded him. A fireball appeared in his hand. Break! Dragon chants spread in the air. The dragon's powers were explosive, immediately destroying the fireball. Aoshu was staring at his opponent, shooting blood lights towards him. But Huixingzi stood steadfast and the fire in his hand grew more and more intense. Blood dragons raced towards him. The crowd couldn't see Huixingzi at all anymore. He disappeared inside all those blood dragons. Suddenly, fingers emerged from the blood lights, fire pierced through them, some blood dragons were instantly destroyed, the others started burning and disappeared. In the end, only some blood dragon's claws reached him. The two attacks collided. The blood lights surrounded Huixingzi's fire. Both opponents collided, then they were both forced away. When they stopped moving, there was blood on Aoshu's fist, and flames had appeared around him. Huixingzi was trembling and covered with blood. Aoshu's attack was so explosive, he had the impression he had nearly died. At that kind of cultivation level, people have to control themselves not to use their full strength, they only use a little bit of strength. Nobody knows how strong a cultivator is, but themselves, thought Lin Feng. Saints could kill the strongest great emperors in the blink of an eye with the power of their minds. Even the fire shrine saint had died easily because the diviner was too strong. Huashang, come and try, challenged Aili, stepping forwards. The battle stage trembled. Huashang's eyes were filled with flames. At that moment, a wind carried a cold chi, like the battle stage was about to freeze. Ice King intent filled the air. That person was much stronger than Aoshu and Huixing Zi. Snow Clan, Shui Jing Shao. I've wanted to exchange views with the dragons of the Supreme Animal World's Dragon Clan for a long time, said Shui Jing Shao calmly. Fire and ice were antagonist kinds of strengths, and they were both beasts. Same here, let's see how strong a king of the Snow Clan can be, returned Aili evenly. They started fighting. It was a great battle, too. Fire and ice kept colliding as they invaded the battle stage. Their battle was quite dangerous. When Aili and Shui Jing Shao moved away from one another, they were both injured. They both had similar strength. Shui Jing Shao has a king-type body and is from the Snow Clan. Aili is from the Dragon Clan and a terrifying genius. They are both terrifying geniuses, the onlookers commented. You're extremely strong. Your fighting abilities are incredible. Anyone else want to try? Said Aili indifferently. Dazzling golden lights flashed. The empty space shrine's strong cultivator jumped in front of Aili. Instantly, Aili had the impression he was in a cage, and shouted furiously. His opponent looked like an illusion and was teleporting. His strength surged towards Aili. Brilliant. Who else wants to fight? Come, said someone. At that moment, Heezy's Maharaga jumped up and landed on the battle stage. He was already a celestial emperor, he had broken through to the Tiandi layer a short time before. Where are you from? Said Gu Xianfeng coldly, releasing demon energies. He started running towards the Maharaga. Each time he took a step, explosive demon strength surrounded the Maharaga. Gu Xianfeng then released some pitch-black demon punches. The Maharaga transformed and threw himself at Xianfeng, still spitting venom. Gu Xianfeng sensed the strength of the smelly poison. It was dangerous. What a strange Maharaga, but he's super strong, cheered the crowd. The people around Lin Feng jumped onto the battle stage and shouted, who wants to fight? My turn, said a cultivator of the top of the Di-Chi layer, throwing himself at Qing Hai's rock. Nobody chose opponents weaker than them, everybody wanted to fight against someone stronger. Some strong cultivators from the shrines were fighting, too. Those people's fighting abilities are incredible. Beasts or people, they're all very strong, cheered the crowd. They were a bit surprised, because there was a group of people they didn't know. They weren't from the shrines, and those from the Supreme Animal World didn't know them either. How come they had appeared so suddenly? Which group were they from? Many people looked at Lin Feng. He was wearing a world robe, his hair was fluttering in the wind, his chi only dimly discernible. They could sense that he was terrifyingly strong, otherwise, he wouldn't have come with such strong cultivators. In the distance, two people appeared. When Huixing Zi saw them, he was stunned. Why are they here? Qing Feng and Jing. They had come to watch the battles. Lin Feng looked over at them. He looked on calmly, he knew they were going to be here. The demon shrine had organized this event, Lin Feng was going to take advantage of it. He slowly walked over to Jing and Qing Feng. Many strong cultivators watched him. He looked imposing and awe-inspiring. Chapter 23:10, You failed to appreciate my kindness. Lin Feng slowly walked to Qing Feng and Jing. He smiled and said, You have an incredible chi, what's your name? Jing looked at Lin Feng coldly. She didn't like strangers, especially foreigners. My name is Qing Feng. And yours? Jing was surprised, because Qing Feng immediately replied to him and smiled. Jing looked at Qing Feng, she had changed, was she doing that on purpose for the cultivators of the Fire Shrine and the Void Phoenix clan to see? Daimon, said Lin Feng smiling. The crowd was astonished. He dared call himself Daimon, how arrogant. Miss Qin Feng, let's watch together, said Lin Feng, smiling kindly. All right, Qin Feng nodded. Jing was astonished, and didn't understand. She didn't know that it was Lin Feng, but Qin Feng did. Lin Feng had a new social status, he could spend time with Qin Feng now. What does she think she's doing? Jing wondered. But since Qin Feng had agreed, Jing followed along. Huixing Zi, said Huishang to Huixing Zi. He looked amused. Qin Feng was supposed to get married to Huixing Zi, their respective groups had agreed, and now she was walking with another man. That man had an incredible qi, and looked extraordinary. The people he had brought with him were extremely strong, too. Qin Feng, said Huixing Zi walking over to Qin Feng. He smiled and said, Qin Feng, my teacher and the Void Phoenix clan have finished discussing our marriage. You just have to agree now. You're getting married, said Lin Feng, looking surprised. No, said Qin Feng, shaking her head. Huixing Zi was stunned and said, Qin Feng, you agreed. How can you take back your word now? We're done organizing everything. I just said I'd agree to think about getting married, I never agreed to get married to you. And we never agreed on a date either, said Qin Feng coldly. Huixing Zi was astonished. Shrines try to force women to get married, said Lin Feng, with a cold smile. Shut your filthy mouth, who are you to talk about shrines, spat Huixing Zi coldly. You want to die, said someone next to Lin Feng, releasing a terrifying bestial qi. A strong wind started blowing around Huixing Zi. Huixing Zi's expression changed drastically, and he jumped backwards, feeling oppressed. However, at that moment, he realized that the speaker had gone back where he was standing a moment before, as calm and composed as if nothing had happened. Huixing Zi pulled a long face. How humiliating. Some strong cultivators from the Fire Shrine walked in their direction. Their qi surged towards Lin Feng and the others. Huishang asked coldly, which faction are you from? Lin Feng said calmly, World Clan, Daimon. The World Clan. Huishang was startled, and frowned. The World Clan, which had disappeared for such a long time, was back. Many years before, a terrifyingly strong cultivator had risen in the World Clan. Thanks to him, the World Clan had become splendid and glorious. Back then was a golden age for them. But after that, something mysterious had happened, there were details only known to insiders. Few people knew that the saint of the World Clan had fallen. Nobody knew the details. After that, the World Clan had faced a tragedy, many clans had joined hands to fight against them, and they had disappeared. The World Clan started acting behind the scenes, staying hidden. Many forgot about them. Time passed, and they disappeared from the continent of the 9 clouds. And now, they were back. Many people thought it was a pity back then when you disappeared. Now you're back, good for you, said Huishang calmly. But my fellow disciple didn't say anything wrong. Miss Qin Feng really agreed to get married to someone from the Fire Shrine. The World Clan can't get involved. Miss Qin Feng, is that true? Asked Lin Feng. It's not, obviously, replied Qin Feng. Lin Feng nodded, there are some blue bottles here. We'll get in touch again, Miss Qin Feng, said Lin Feng, before he and his group left. Huishang was amazed. That guy was arrogant, he didn't give the Fire Shrine any face. Did the World Clan think they were strong enough? Actually, many people were convinced that the World Clan hadn't disappeared for real, they had been hiding and accumulating strength. And now, they had finally shown up again. Wait. Huishang said to Lin Feng. He sounded cold. The World Clan dared disrespect the Fire Shrine. Lin Feng turned around and looked at Huishang. Huashang smiled and said, "Who are the bluebottles you were talking about?" Lin Feng smiled evilly and sneered, "You don't understand. I heard you, but the World Clan just reappeared, you should watch your words. Otherwise, all the efforts you've made during these thousands of years will be in vain in the end." "Apologize for saying that," said Huashang, smiling icily. He just saw silhouettes flicker. Some strong cultivators from the fire shrine immediately gathered around Huashang and released their flames. They wanted to burn Lin Feng and the others. "Apologize?" Lin Feng smiled. "What if I don't?" "We'll see how long the World Clan will survive," said Huashang emotionlessly. Many people looked at them. The battles weren't over, and the fire shrine were already having problems with the World Clan. Many people were amused. "If you say so," said Lin Feng smiling widely. Did it mean they were going to fight? The air became scorching hot, and more flames appeared. Many people retreated. It was going to be a group battle between the fire shrine and the World Clan. The World Clan had just come back to life. Who was that daimon? And was he going to have his first battle against a shrine? A terrifying chi erupted out. The strong cultivators of the fire shrine walked towards Lin Feng and the others. At the same time, the strong cultivators on Lin Feng's side also walked towards them. Some cultivators started fighting instantly. Fire energies filled the air with deadly flames. There really were some cultivators from the World Clan with Lin Feng who were extremely strong. World lights dashed to the skies and sent the flames to another world. Only Huashang and Lin Feng didn't move. They were staring at one another calmly. Huashang said, "They're all geniuses from the fire shrine. No need to be polite. You can join hands and use your full strength." When Lin Feng heard that, his friends all started fighting against them. The group of people Lin Feng had brought was stronger than Huashang's group. Finally, a strong cultivator of the fire shrine who was surrounded by two people was injured and started crying out. The beasts were merciless and continued striking. They wanted to crush him. Huashang wanted to move, but he sensed an ominous chi fixed on him. He was astonished and looked at Lin Feng. Boom! Another strong cultivator of the fire shrine was injured, his face was deathly pale. "You bastard," said Huashang coldly. "The fire shrine provoked us and you told us to use our full strength, so," replied Lin Feng coolly. He turned around and started leaving. The fire shrine bullied and provoked the World Clan. It was actually the opposite, but the fire shrine had initiated the battle. Lin Feng had infuriated them on purpose. They were a shrine, and in everybody's eyes, they were really strong. The World Clan had to use their full strength against them, everybody agreed. "Going," swore Huashang coldly. He condensed fire and ran towards Lin Feng. Raising his hands, he shouted furiously, "Where are you going?" Lin Feng turned around suddenly and looked at him coldly. He raised his hands as well, condensing terrifying energies. Huashang heard whistling sounds. "Piss off!" Lin Feng shouted furiously, his eyes looked evil as he moved towards Huashang. Hundreds of hands appeared in the air and attacked Huashang. His fire slowly weakened. An overpowering hand crashed onto Huashang's body, and blood splashed. Lin Feng stopped, and glanced over at the members of the fire shrine. "You failed to appreciate my kindness." Chapter 23:11 Black Dragon Lin Feng was wearing a world robe, his hair was fluttering in the wind, and he sounded ice-cold. The crowd was startled. He was really strong and had easily defeated Huashang. Their battle had been even more impressive than Huashang and Aili's battle. Huashang couldn't withstand a single attack from Lin Feng. The most surprising thing was that Lin Feng told his opponent he failed to appreciate his kindness. Who was from a shrine, Lin Feng or that Huashang? Did the World Clan think they were strong enough to compete with a shrine? The real protagonists on that day were supposed to be Mo Zhang and his opponent, and surprisingly, there were so many battles. The Supreme Animal World Strong Cultivators, the World Clan, this time they were extremely strong and could oppress the Fire Shrine. Huashang was a very strong cultivator and he had been defeated handily. The Fire Shrine shouldn't bully people, said Lin Feng indifferently. Huashang and the other members of the Fire Shrine grimaced. The Fire Shrine bullied people? Who had bullied whom here? The crowd was stunned. What a guy! Lin Feng didn't even turn around, he departed with the other cultivators of the World Clan. The strong cultivators who were from Lin Feng's group and still on the battle stage also flashed away and followed Lin Feng. They looked majestic and imposing. The crowd wondered what all this was supposed to mean. What was the World Clan's real purpose for showing up? They've been hiding for such a long time, now they're back. They wanted to tell everyone in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds that they're back, and they did it with force. Therefore, only their most outstanding geniuses must have shown up today, and the Fire Shrine was their stepping stone today. Poor Fire Shrine. The World Clan came to cause trouble today. Everybody gossiped. They also looked at Qing Feng and Jing again. They had heard of the marriage alliance planned between the Fire Shrine and the Void Phoenix clan. Huixing Zi's teacher and Jing's father were good friends. To Huixing Zi, Jing and Qing Feng were already members of the Fire Shrine since they were supposed to get married to some of them. But the World Clan had humiliated them. That daimon is really strong. He defeated Huashan, thought Aili, looking after Lin Feng. Aoshu was next to him and nodded agreement. I'll go and see. You can go back, don't wait for me, said Aoma at that moment. Both of them frowned. Aili shouted, Aoma, where are you going? They didn't want anything to happen to him. Don't worry, I'll be fine. You can go back, shouted Aoma. Aili frowned but then Aoshu said, that little boy is terrifyingly strong. He'll be fine. But that daimon is sinister and extremely strong. His group of people is also very strong, murmured Aili, gazing after him. Aoma isn't stupid. Even though daimon is extremely strong, I don't think he wants the dragon clan as enemies, said Aoshu. Aili nodded. They didn't chase after Aoma, and continued watching the battles. Mo Zheng was standing in the sky, staring at Mo Fu. He said plainly, it's our turn, right? Fight, said Mo Fu in a demon voice. It reverberated all around them. Mo Zheng's robe fluttered in the wind. He stood there with his hands clasped behind his back. Their demon voices made the blood boil of everyone on the Mogia's battle stage. Even celestial emperors were amazed at the power of their voices. Each time Mo Fu took a step, it seemed the world was about to collapse. A powerful wave of energy crashed onto Mo Zheng. Mo Zheng looked unshaken. He had used the Devamara body cleansing technique in the demon pond in the ancient demon clan. He was incredibly strong. After practicing demon cultivation, Mo Zheng had started studying Death Dao. Back then, the ancient demon clan had then taken him to the 10 Yama courts and then he had been accepted into the Hell Shrine. He had an extraordinary life in Hell. Mo Zheng took a step forwards, and demon strength rolled out. He looked like a peerless demon, his Death Dao rolled around him fearsomely. Demon, demonic punisher, his demon strength is incredible, the crowd observed. He looked like an unparalleled demon king. Demon Dao, demonic punisher's Dao, the path of aggressiveness. Everybody was staring at Mo Zheng as he raised his fist and punched out. Floating sword, said Mo Fu coldly. His demon voice turned into a demon sword, which shot towards Mo Zheng. However, Mo Zheng waved his hand, and demons appeared all around and converged on the sword. Mo Zheng wasn't weaker than Mo Fu. How strong! It's a clash of demons, mused the crowd. Mo Zheng waved his hands again, and death strength appeared and turned into a river of death Dao. Dual Dao power. The crowd was astonished. Mo Zheng understood dual Dao strength, one was demon Dao, the other one was death Dao. How impressive. He really looked like a demon god, and a god of death. The Hell Shrine's cultivators are extremely strong. In the future, the competition will be even fiercer in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds. Their battle was amazing. Mo Fu's fighting abilities were already incredible for a celestial emperor, and he was amongst the strongest cultivators of his generation in the Demon Shrine. Otherwise, he wouldn't have invited so many people to come and watch his battle against Mo Zheng after members of his shrine, the Demon Shrine, had been killed. In contrast, Mo Zheng hadn't displayed such strength when he had defeated those cultivators of the Demon Shrine. Today, two shrines had lost, the Fire Shrine and the Demon Shrine. One lost against the World Clan, and the other lost against a cultivator from Hell. Lin Feng wasn't interested in their battle. After leaving, Auma caught up with him and Lin Feng heard a dragon chant. Lin Feng suddenly turned around and looked at Auma coldly. Auma roared and turned into a black dragon. He looked ferocious. He threw himself at Lin Feng. Instantly the men next to Lin Feng turned into beasts and moved to intercept him. Bestial chi rolled out. They were vigilant and careful. Auma was a real dragon from the Dragon Clan. Being a dragon was similar to having a king-type body. "Come back," ordered Lin Feng casually. The beasts looked to Lin Feng. He looked totally composed. They came back to him, but they were still staring at that demon dragon. The huge dragon moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled, astonishing them. Was Lin Feng insane? But then the dragon started rubbing his face against Lin Feng's face. How cute. What is going on? Lin Feng caressed the dragon gently. He smiled and said, "Little boy, you're still young." The dragon rumbled, speaking draconic. Lin Feng jumped onto him and said, "All right, let's go." The dragon rose up in the air and they flew away. Everybody was stunned. Lin Feng had raised a dragon. Lin Feng and the others went back to the northwest area. After a short time, the news that the World Clan had started rising again in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds quickly spread. The news that the World Clan had won against the Fire Shrine at the Mogia's battle stage also spread. It was the second time that the Fire Shrine had been humiliated. Chapter 23:12, Daimon draws attention. In the northwest area, there was a mountain range with a powerful chi. From the top of the mountain, one could only see clouds and lofty buildings. It was the World Clan, a location great for chi. In the past, powerful groups had fought over that region, but these days, the World Clan had it for themselves. In the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, every inch of land was expensive and important. If someone wanted to invade an area, they had to fight. Only strength mattered in that world. The strongest groups had the best territories. The World Clan was strong now, so they had managed to take this place. Of course, the World Clan was composed of several groups of influence. The army Lin Feng had obtained from the king of the 10,000 beasts, the army of the World Clan themselves, and Lin Feng's personal army. Everybody listened to Lin Feng, and the World Clan didn't require anything from him. The only requirement they had was that when Lin Feng was in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds, he had to say he was from the World Clan. But it wasn't really a requirement, because Lin Feng needed another identity anyway. He couldn't compete with the shrines, so he couldn't stay in the imperial court of the continent of the Nine Clouds relying on his real identity. There was a black dragon floating above Lin Feng. He had become tiny, only 7 meters. If Ailey saw that, he would have been astonished. A demon dragon was ferocious and brutal, and surprisingly, it looked cute in front of Lin Feng. It was difficult to imagine. However, to Alma, Lin Feng was like a mother. Lin Feng had raised him. "Little boy, let's go," said Lin Feng to Alma. Alma instantly rose up into the air and took Lin Feng away. He roared out, and everybody heard a dragon chant in the World Clan. On a gigantic stone nearby was an old man, who looked at the sky and thought, "The forbidden person has a dragon? How brilliant! The imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds won't be calm," murmured the old man, smiling thinly. Alma took Lin Feng to the entrance of the Void Phoenix clan, and roared to proclaim their arrival. Many strong cultivators of the Void Phoenix clan came out and asked Lin Feng, "Who are you, Your Excellency?" "Daimon from the World Clan. I met 2 incredibly beautiful women from the Void Phoenix clan last time, and I have a strong admiration for them. I want to see them." "Please tell them," said Lin Feng calmly. The strong cultivator was startled. This guy was Daimon. The one who had easily defeated Huashang. Everybody knew it, he was extraordinary. "Please wait," replied the guards. They started talking using telepathy, and quickly, everybody, including the high officials of the Void Phoenix clan, knew that Daimon from the World Clan was there. A middle-aged man in a distant courtyard looked amused when he learned that Daimon had come. A few days ago, Huashing Zi introduced that little insane cultivator to Qing Feng. But Qing Feng likes Lin Feng. Now Daimon seems interested in Qing Feng and came to see her. Things are getting interesting. The middle-aged man didn't have any suspicions regarding Daimon's identity. After all, the World Clan had reappeared, and they were very strong. The fact that they wanted to rise again was normal, especially if they had really strong cultivators. The World Clan wants to make friends with some holy sage ruler clans to help them endure the pressure from the shrines. The middle-aged man smiled when thinking about it. It really seemed to be Daimon's purpose. However, Daimon was Lin Feng. After a short time, some people appeared outside of the clan in front of Lin Feng. They were extremely strong, and were interested in Daimon and his world robe. The World Clan was very famous back in the days. Unfortunately, when I was younger, the World Clan was already hiding. There are legends in the imperial court of the continent of the 9 clouds. It is said that during the golden age of the World Clan, there was a peerless cultivator who could destroy entire worlds and was very arrogant. How did he die in the end? "Daimon, you're a genius in the World Clan, so you probably know the truth. Will you tell us about him?" challenged an old man loudly at that moment. He sounded calm and serene. "You can come and try to get pieces of information, if you wish," replied Lin Feng, smiling thinly. The strong cultivators of the Void Phoenix clan stared at him. "I'll try," said a strong cultivator at that moment, flashing forwards. He was a celestial emperor. He smiled at Lin Feng and said, "I really want to see how strong the cultivators of the World Clan are, what powers they have." He threw himself at Lin Feng and raised his hand. People around heard a sonic boom. It was like a shooting star was flying towards Lin Feng. The atmosphere became illusionary and kept changing unpredictably. The man had the impression he had landed in another world. "World strength corrodes cosmic energies," said Lin Feng indifferently. His opponent realized that he couldn't use his cosmic energies anymore. Lin Feng slowly walked towards him. Lin Feng struck the man, smashing him away, to crash hard to the ground. He coughed up blood and his face paled. The world around him became normal again. "What's going on? My cosmic energies?" That strong cultivator pulled a long face. World strength had taken him elsewhere and corroded his cosmic energies. The strong cultivators of the Void Phoenix glanced at one another in astonishment. What a strange attack. A moment before, when they realized that the two had disappeared, they had sensed a mysterious world strength, and a second later, their man reappeared and was badly injured. His cosmic energies had been corroded, too. Extraordinary, as expected. At that moment, nobody doubted that Lin Feng was from the World Clan at all. They had seen authentic world strength. How could they know that it was Lin Feng's own world strength? What the hell is that thing? My blood is stirring restlessly, said the strong cultivator, staring at Lin Feng and Aomo. Aomo looked like an illusionary dragon at that moment because he was very small. Aomo roared out angrily. A black dragon descended from the sky and landed in front of the man, sharp claws moving towards him. A terrifying oppressive strength surrounded him. The dragon was gigantic, 1,000 meters long. The cultivator's heart started pounding. The ground cracked, the claws grabbed him. If the demon dragon pressed with more force, he could cut him apart. Be merciful, shouted the other strong cultivators of the World Clan when they saw that. Everybody could hear a dragon chant. The demon dragon stopped moving, the strong cultivator covered with cold sweat. The strong cultivators of the Void Phoenix clan raised their heads and looked at the demon dragon. Lin Feng was standing on its head, standing there with his hands clasped behind his back, his robe fluttering in the wind. He looked enigmatic and unfathomable. It's a real dragon, he's riding a real dragon. The strong cultivators of the Void Phoenix clan were astonished. It was a demon dragon, it was probably the demon dragon who had come to the demon shrine with Ailey the other time, a dragon from the dragon clan of the supreme animal world. That gigantic dragon was real, which meant he was like human being who had a king-type body. They were proud and arrogant. That daimon from the World Clan had made him submit, and was using him as a means of transportation. He was much stronger than they had thought. The World Clan had come back to life and had some incredible geniuses. The crowd remained silent. In the distance, an old man arrived and said to Lin Feng, I just sent some people to call Miss Qing Feng and Miss Jing. If they want to see you, they will come. Since it's that way, I'll wait here, Lin Feng smiled. Actually, he was already talking to Qing Feng, and nobody had informed her he was there. Even though he had displayed his strength, the Void Phoenix clan was still unwilling to let him see her. The Void Phoenix clan wanted to give the Fire Shrine face because they had been humiliated twice. The Fire Shrine was really infuriated these days. If the Void Phoenix clan allowed Qing Feng and Jing to go and see Daimon, it would be a third humiliation. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.